And with that, we welcome you inside Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center. Kanoa Leahy along with Lisa Strand. Lisa, take us through the Kaiser Permanente keys to the match.
And for Irvine tonight, they're going to focus on serve receive because they know they have to take care of that first ball to stay in system against Hawaii. And for Hawaii, their entire week has been focusing on the big D, defense. They're blocking and bringing up balls and playing the out-of-system balls. So that's what Coach Charlie is really focusing on tonight. And team.
So Hawaii comes in number 1, 13-0 overall on the year, 8-0 in the Big West Conference, already having wrapped up the outright regular season conference crown. And how about that for living up to your key as Pat Gassman, Uncle Pat, who will be celebrated along with the rest of this senior group this weekend, gets the scoring started with the roof.
It's a great way to start off, but that all started from the service line with that very difficult, aggressive serve by Yakutela.
Gassman second in the country in blocks as well as kill percentage. The serve by Tella outside, and the swing by Alexan Sakanda is returned, and Hawaii is able to parlay that into a smoke shot by Colton Cowell. Hawaiian Financial FCU starting lineup scrolling at the bottom of your screen. You will notice for the first time Philip Umler in the starting rotation for Hawaii in place of Chaz Galloway, the freshman who has played phenomenally this season, out with a non-COVID illness tonight. So Umler getting his first start of the year as Cowell was able to get a good piece of that swing on the opposite side by Joel Schneidermiller. He is the guy as far as the pin hitting is concerned for UC Irvine, 6'6" senior from Saratoga, California. 3.75 kills per set, hitting over 300 this year.
He has been their go-to guy, that is for sure.
And serves that one down the line wide, so a point for the Rainbow Warriors. Anteaters 2-11 overall this year, 2-6 in the Big West Conference. These two teams played one another to start the year up in California as you take a look at head coach David Niffen for the Anteaters. Hawaii won both those matches. The first one was a 4-setter, and then the second night Hawaii was able to pull off the sweep. High ball outside, the swing by Sakanda rattled around, and Rado Parapunov will get a swing out of it, and he's able to put it through and down. And there is another look at Niffen in his 9th season. Always a wonderful guy to talk to, and has such a tremendous amount of respect for this Hawaii team, this facility, and in fact, it is fortuitous because the conference tournament is being held in this building next week, and Irvine's going to stay the duration between this weekend and next weekend.
That's right. They're here for 10 days total.
And that one is hit long, no touch up front, so Sakanda sends it long, and Charlie Wade looking on as his Rainbow Warriors quickly up 5 serving 1. Wade in his 12th season atop the program. 3rd straight year that Hawaii has gotten off to a 13-0 start. That was a heater there by Colton Cowell, 67 on the gun. And then the two-hand save there by Cowell, chased down by Gage Worsley on the second touch. Free chance here, though, for the Anteaters. And it is Sakanda blasting it off the block and down. Alexan Sakanda, 6'4", redshirt junior from Ottawa, Canada, averaging a little over 1.5 kills per set.
The lefty hitting in that opposite position, very physical at 6'4", mixing things up a little bit for the offensive side and the Anteaters.
There's Scott Static, the 7-footer with the serve for UC Irvine. Rado wasn't able to put it down. And then the swing on the outside goes off the block and out for a point. That is credited to Cole Gillis, 6'5", redshirt freshman from San Jose, California. And you talk about mixing it up. This Irvine lineup and roster in general, they have swapped positions left and right. You have setters playing middle blocker. You have liberos playing outside hitter. Gillis, a case in point.
That's right. Gillis played libero the last few matches, and he started the season as an outside hitter, played libero. Now he's back being an outside hitter tonight.
That swing by Sakanda misses wide. And so a point for Hawaii, and Irvine here in the early goings hitting $111 compared to Hawaii hitting 500. Only 2 kills so far for Hawaii on 4 swings as Pat Gassman gets ready to serve for the Rainbow Warriors. 11 aces on the season. He has put up gaudy numbers in just about every regard. And Sakanda is stuffed. Philip Umler next to Guillermo Voss, and that had to feel good for Umler. This has been a tumultuous ride over the last year.
Incredibly challenging, but you know what? He's worked very hard, and Coach Charlie Wade had said, I've got to figure out a way to get him back into the lineup. He's worked hard. He's got himself back in. He's had an opportunity with Chaz Galloway being out.
Served by Gassman, popped up on the first touch by Schneidermiller. High ball goes to Gillis on the outside, and the roll shot drops in front of Gassman for an Irvine point. Yeah, getting back to Philip Umler, this is a guy who dealt with some health issues in the offseason, non-COVID related, but he lost a ton of weight because of it, and it was a pretty lengthy process for him to get back into the practice gym at full capacity, and here getting the start, it has not been an easy ride.
It really hasn't. It just goes to show you he has so much international experience. He just had to get the opportunity to get on the court again and get healthy.
As Voss wipes at that one and misses wide, so another point for Irvine. Charlie Wade describes Umler, when he's right, as one of their better out-of-system hitters. And when you pair that along with what Rado Parapunov is established as far as his ability in the out-of-system high ball, that's a pretty dangerous combo. Tella, quick middle set to Voss, and he smacks it home.
Voss, a 6'7" freshman, really doing a nice job. And last week up on the mainland had an excellent week. I think he's one of those underrated players. He just gets up, he's so quick and wiry, and he connects very well in the middle with Tella.
Career high 8 blocks in the opening night win versus CSUN last week. Was also 7 for 7 offensively, 7 kills on 7 attempts as Francesco Sani inserted into the match, 6'8" freshman. Highly touted recruit out of the prep ranks, and he gets his first lash at it, and it's popped up by Cowell. How about the cross-court bump set by Rado? Umler tried to dink it over, chance here for Irvine. And it is Gillis going cross-court for the Anteater point.
And Gillis just way off the net, seeing high hands aimed high and deep into that far corner. A very smart shot by the redshirt freshman.
And there's Brian Garcia, 6'5" junior from Madera, California. Another listed setter on the squad. Here's the D set to Parapunov, and he's able to split the uprights of that proposed double block. And it's Hawaii up 9, serving 6.
Brian Garcia started this season as a setter against Hawaii, and then ended up, he's been out for quite a long time actually. And so we thought we might see him later, but he must be better. Obviously, he's back in the match.
It was kind of a freaky accident that caused his injury in that early season matchup with Hawaii, as that one is just blasted off of the palm of Schneidermiller. But yeah, Garcia actually, in the midst of a play on the floor, got stepped on, really on his head, and he suffered a concussion. And so yeah, that obviously set him back a bit here this season. So good to see him back out there, and I'm sure David Niffen happy about that as well, as Voss is able to slam it home. 1.36 kills per set. He's hitting .522 coming into this season. And how about that setup from Tella?
You gotta love it. He goes behind, he's audibleizing, calling for that back quick set, and you don't see that as often, but it's nice to see the sets being mixed up in the middle.
Right side, that's Gillis, and he's able to go off the block and out. So Gillis providing for Irvine here, and the good setup there by Brian Garcia. So here is Francesco Sani. He was the #2 recruit in the 2020 class, according to volleyballmag.com. Charlie Wade actually looked upon him, and his opinion was that he was the top recruit. And so he expects this guy to have a fantastic career over the course of time. High ball bump set goes to Cowell. Layout save by the libero, A.J. Faley. And then that one is just torched on that opposite side.
And what you're going to notice is that the sets are a little bit further off of the net. They're not as tight. Of course, coming out of the backcourt there, but they're spreading it out nicely, not too tight to Hawaii's big block.
So you see a little bit of that ability from Sani. It's a 6-3 run here for Irvine. The jump serve misses for a Hawaii point. The Anteaters unranked in the latest AVCA poll. It's actually the first time that they have been knocked out of the rankings since the last 2 weeks of 2016. So a rarity certainly for them.
And really, they've been in every match so far. They've taken a set from every team in the Big West so far, but they just have not been able to be consistent, according to Coach Niffen.
Middle set, and that is static off of the setup from Dylan Jai, 6'1" freshman from California, who was able to put that one right there for the 7-footer.
Doing a nice job coming in the backcourt. What you're noticing is UC Irvine changing things up again. They're going with 2 setters now, so Dylan Jai will come in and set only from that backcourt.
Tella goes quick middle to Gassman, and he lays into that one. Uncle Pat, who is hitting .494 on the season. 2.27 kills per set. And as mentioned, he's also among the nation's leaders, averaging 1.52 blocks per set. I mean, just huge numbers.
His numbers have been scary, actually. And what's nice to see is the connection that him and Tella have created.
How about that battle atop the tape as Sakanda tried to challenge that Hawaii block, and Sakanda was able to outwit it.
Just got the last contact on that ball. Sakanda from the Canadian junior national team. He's started the last 3 matches, and it looks like he's created himself a starting spot.
And that's an ace from static. And so all of a sudden we're tied for the first time. Hawaii led by as many as 4.
Scott Static's been around the game for a long time, a senior he's a graduate student, going for his master's in finance.
3-time All-American. Pass by Gage Worsley. They go to that back row set, and it's Cowell flying in, getting the Hawaii point. Another one of the group of seniors who will be bidding a symbolic aloha here this weekend, but it is symbolic only because they will be playing next week in the Big West Conference Tournament. There is more work to be done. And it's going to be a weird senior weekend because there are no fans here in the arena.
It's going to be very weird because, you know, these senior parents are wanting to be here and wishing that they could come inside and be here for their kids.
Gillis able to find that deep corner. The diving attempt there by Gassman comes up empty. Right now, Gillis leading the way for Irvine. 4 kills on 6 swings, error-free. And all of a sudden, Irvine's starting to climb up in terms of hitting percentage. 368 now compared to 462 for the Rainbow Warriors. But the serve from Sakanda goes into the twine. And now it will be Rado Patapunov back to serve. Patapunov, who has 2 kills. So he is now 5 kills away from creeping into the top 10 in the all-time career kills category at UH.
He was named National Player of the Week last week for his efforts up on the mainland trip.
Sakanda goes hard off the block, and it goes out beyond the end line. Yeah, Rado Patapunov, who you would probably have to say, if the season ended right now, would be the favorite to be the National Player of the Year.
He'd definitely be my vote in what we've seen. You know, we haven't seen a lot in the MPSF because we're only doing conference play, of course, but he has elevated his game. His numbers just blow your mind. When you start looking at the numbers that this young man has done and his 6 rotation play, it's pretty phenomenal.
Yeah, he's 3rd in the country in kills per set. 19 straight matches in which he has reached double figures in kills. That one tried to go wrist away, though, and misses wide. So a point to Irvine. They get to 15 first, and we got a set here in the first. Welcome back to Jack Fact. It's been a while. In fact, since 1980, that's the last time Hawaii won an outright conference championship. The president at the time was Jimmy Carter. Top movie, The Empire Strikes Back. Top song, Call Me by Blondie. And the Dow Jones had just surpassed 1,000. So it's been a minute as Umler is able to go off the block and out to tie this opening frame up at 15 apiece. So Hawaii wrapping up the outright Big West Conference regular season title. They're looking to finish the regular season unblemished. And then, of course, they're looking to add a conference tournament title next week. Now, back in 1980, Hawaii was competing in the WCVC, and the head coach was one Dave Shoji, as Tella is able to smack that one southpaw style and get another point for the Rainbow Warriors.
I love that option play by Tella. When he's in the front court there, he can turn and swing on it. When he's in the back court, obviously he cannot. But Charlie Wade has said all season he's given him the green light. Go ahead and swing if and when you can.
So here is Philip Umler. Playing in just his third set of the year, and that set goes to Schneidermiller, and he knows what to do with it.
And Schneidermiller hits the ball with so much heat, and he's so smart and so confident. He is their go-to guy. He's got 191 kills plus whatever he's done tonight, and the next person on the team is at like 90 kills. Yeah, just to give you an example.
He's led Irvine in kills in every match but 2 here this season. High ball outside, it's Cowell, and he's able to light that one up.
Cowell just hanging up there long enough to see the block, double block up on him. So smooth, he sees 2 hitters, and he just sees the empty area.
6'1" senior from Makawao on the island of Maui, out of King Kekaulike High School. They go back row. Oh, and that one was crushed by Cole Gillis, and some high cheddar for the back row defenders for Hawaii.
Yeah, with only 1 block up, Jakob Tella was the only solo blocker. Rado just sitting right in the pocket, took one. Some serious heat on that ball.
So Irvine competing here, as they tend to do. The 2-11 overall record, not quite the accurate indicator of how competitive some of their matches have been.
And they match up. You know, they've mixed things around, but they match up well with Hawaii. Let's remember, Hawaii played them early on, and Irvine took that first set. And the 4th set, Hawaii got out of there 28-26. So these 2 teams match up nicely.
Good roll shot there. Cowell pulling the string. He has 4 kills on 5 swings. And here's Tella to serve. Good heat on that. Good pass, though, by Gillis. And Schneidermiller is roofed. Solo stuff, courtesy Colton Cowell.
Again, Colton Cowell hanging up there, showing line, and then dropping in with his right hand. Here you see, and closing it down at the last minute. One-on-one blocks they just get you going.
Yeah, that would be an interesting debate, and players have had different views on it, right? It's what gets you pumped up more, what feels better, that solo stuff, or when you lay into one off of a nectar set and you just bounce it off of the Terraflex. I think Colton Cowell would say he's got a love for both. Timeout on the floor, Hawaii up 3.
Rainbow Warrior Volleyball on Spectrum Sports is sponsored by Bank of Hawaii.
Welcome back. So Hawaii led by 4 in the first. Early, Irvine was able to take the lead. In fact, they got to the 15-point plateau first. Hawaii has switched it around again here on the scoreboard. They're up 20, serving 17 out of the timeout. Pass there by Faley, but it's a little tight to the net, and it allowed Pat Gassman to actually get in on it, and he puts it down. That pass off of the platform of Faley just kind of kept drifting towards big Pat Gassman in the middle.
You don't put it up anywhere near Pat Gassman in the middle there, but again, that play completely created by this great, powerful serve by Jakob Tella.
21 serving 17, again going right at the libero, A.J. Faley. So out of system, Schneidermiller goes off the triple block, kept alive by Gage Worsley. Here's Cowell against a double block. And good cover there by Sakanda. He gets it back, and he pounds it through that Hawaii block attempt. And gets the point for the Anteaters.
The lefty hitting from the left side there, a little unexpected, just found the hole in that block and snuck it through.
Had some success against Hawaii in the second match of the season. Both these teams starting out the year playing one another in a back-to-back. And Sakanda had 15 kills in what was a sweep defeat at the hands of the Warriors, as Schneidermiller goes long on the serve. And Hawaii starting to close in here in the first.
Again, UC Irvine really trying to put pressure from the service line on the Warriors, put them out of system.
Middle set, Static didn't get all of it. The up there by Tella. Worsley bump sets Rado, who gets roofed. Scott Static, the Irvine career leader in solo blocks, block assists, and total blocks, chalks up another.
Well, at 7 feet, his span is enormous. He covers a lot of area, but also in on that Cole Gillis, who's having a phenomenal night. Again, he was libero last week. Now he's back to outside hitter, leading his team in kills with 5 kills in 7 attempts.
Yeah, Gillis actually getting the most of that block. Here's Akil Tangutor, 6'2" sophomore from Pacific Palisades, California. And he serves it into the net. Tough stage of the set to pull one of those off.
Very difficult. Put him in at a tough time. Player of the year in California. Highly recruited, but definitely a tough time to put him in.
Another one of those guys for David Niffen's squad. He was a Big West all-freshman team selection last year as an outside hitter, but has been used primarily as a libero and serving specialist this year. Speaking of serving specialists, here's Spiros Hakas. The serve for Hawaii. Outside set goes to Gillis. And Gillis adds to his kill collection. He now has a half dozen, still without an error.
Leading all hitters with, well, almost all hitters with at 750. Jakob Tella's at 1,000, but he's only hit one.
Yeah, I don't think he reaches quite the minimum to be included there. 20 serving 23, Sakanda into the twine. So we have seen that here in this home stretch of the first frame a multitude of times from the Anteaters.
I believe that's 3 service errors in the last 4 serves.
And so here is Rado Parapunov on Aloha ball in set 1. And he serves it long. 58 miles an hour on the radar gun.
And these serves get up to, like Charlie Wade was telling us, what, 70 miles an hour. It's going pretty fast.
But it remains Aloha ball for Hawaii. Gillis with the serve. Pass by Cowell is on the money, and then he comes flying in from the back row, but misses wide, and that is his first hitting error of the match, and that one an unforced variety.
Very unfortunate, because it's a beautiful set. He came in, he had one blocker on him. He had the opportunity, just going a little too sharp.
Also stuck that pass. Serve goes long, though, so all's well that ends well for Hawaii as they take the opening set 25-22 here against the Anteaters. ILH Volleyball continues next week as the Marinol boys take on Punahou. Then the Desjardins girls face Punahou. Tune in Tuesday at 5 p.m. only on Spectrum XCast, channels 17 and 1017. Well, some Big West volleyball action. The scoreboard from Wednesday on, and I think the score of most interest here this evening is the upset. CSUN in 5 over 7th-ranked Long Beach State. And look, they went to extra points in the last 3 sets. And how about CSUN bouncing back from losing the opening frame 25-12. So a big win for the Matadors here tonight.
That's a huge win in that 4th set. Amazing.
And so as it currently stands, Hawaii the top seed in the Big West Conference tournament next week. But look, all the rest of those slots still technically up for grabs, and we will finalize the brackets for you at the end of action tomorrow. And then, of course, we will be bringing you that tournament in its entirety right here on Spectrum Sports. So rest those pipes, Lisa.
I'm telling you, there's some great volleyball still ahead. When CSUN pulls that off, that's a pretty big upset, truly. But anything can happen, and teams get hot, and we see it. We've seen it for years now.
David Niffen himself, when we had a conference call with him earlier in the week, said, hey, look, don't sleep on Irvine. It hasn't necessarily, the reality of this season in terms of our win-loss record has been somewhat bleak. He says, but we have seen some flashes. And I think the fact that they're going to be in Hawaii all week long, they're going to get acclimated. I think this is a team that Coach Niffen feels has the potential to come together and any given night, right, in the Big West.
Any given night. He says it's a unique experience being able to finally be together on a road trip. We finally get to bond a little bit. Every time we go somewhere, we drive right back.
Here's Schneidermiller to open set number 2. And he lays into that one. Schneidermiller with his 4th kill. But set 1 went to Hawaii 25-22, and a lot of the damage done from Irvine's perspective, self-inflicted. You pointed out 7 service errors, Lisa.
Yeah, definitely. They were neck and neck with Hawaii, but they continued to go for the serve, but that's an excessive amount. Well, there's a service errors, and that's the thing about rally scoring. You gotta serve over to get the point. Otherwise, you're giving it away.
Yeah, Irvine actually out-hitting Hawaii in that first set, 393 to 364. But the service errors, especially down the stretch, very ill-timed. Here is Jakob Tella, served the ball very well in the first frame. And as I say that, he serves it long.
It might be getting a little contagious, and let's hope not.
So 2-1 here early on in set 2 in favor of the Anteaters.
And one of the main people missing off Irvine's team as well, as a few graduates, is Mark Prescio, who coached there for 16 years.
Yeah, Mark Prescio, former University of Hawaii volleyball All-American. You mentioned 16 years, just retired prior to this season to focus on his career away from volleyball. He's, still 2nd all-time, I think, in career kills?
Yeah, he's up there. Hawaii. He's an All-American. He's got a son who plays at Stanford. He's a huge part of UC Irvine's coaching staff. I know they're really missing Mark Prescio.
Oh, that was a heavy-handed swing there by Cole Gillis, who continues to do some damage here. 7 kills on 10 swings for Gillis.
The beautiful set, pushed high outside, 3 blockers on him, and he still powers through.
The only thing I don't miss about Mark Prescio hanging around is he would mess with us, the announcers, on the pronunciation of some of these Irvine players' names. He would mess with Ben Kia'aina, the PA announcer, as well. A case in point would be A.J. Faley, the libero for the Anteaters. Mark Prescio, 1 year before Hawaii played Irvine in this building, he said, oh, yeah, no, it's a very Italian pronunciation. It's Faye. And it's actually Faley. And Mark was laughing all the way.
And you took the bait?
Oh, yeah, of course. I mean, he's so trustworthy.
Oh, yeah.
But that was a quick lesson learned.
Yeah, don't trust Mark.
Here's Schneidermiller, and didn't get a good piece of that one, so hits it awkwardly wide, and so a point for Hawaii. They jump in front.
A little ill time from coming out of the back court, hitting that quick.
No, but we do want to send our best aloha to Mark.
Interesting, what Irvine does is because it was 16 years, they do a social media shout out to Mark on the 16th of the month. I'm not sure what it was today. I looked, but it wasn't posted yet. So just a reminder, if you want to follow him and what he's done for the program, the 16th of every month, they shout out to Mark.
Yeah, that's cool to see.
Yeah.
Serving 4, Sakanda. Took a little something off there. Umler the first touch. Gets the set on the outside. Rattles it off the fingertips of the block. And a net violation will go against Irvine. Looks like that might have been Patrick Vorenkamp who came into the net. Vorenkamp getting back in the mix of things. He had missed the last 7 matches due to an injury. And so wearing number 4, he's a guy who is playing middle blocker, who played setter last season.
Super competitive, very athletic. Obviously, you don't go from setter to middle blocker. He's been out with a leg injury, like you said, Kanoa, but it's just time to switch things up a little bit. Garcia also came back into the match.
How about that one? Francesco Sani going off of the dome, it looked like, of Philip Umler.
Literally, and you know, he raises his hand and he says, hey, sorry about that. I'm really sorry about that. It hit Humler right on the noggin. Sani, a 6'8", true freshman.
Good reaction there by Vorenkamp as Tella tried to dump it over on that second touch, but Vorenkamp was waiting.
Looks like UC Irvine's getting a little healthier by the minute. What do you think?
Yeah. And Tella ends up getting that one ricocheted into his grill as well. So Hawaii getting tested here with some of the physicality in this second set. Backside set, and it is Sani, and that one goes off the tape and wide. So a point for Hawaii, and we're neck and neck here early on in the second.
Gage Worsley just passing nails tonight. He's been spot on. If I was Irvine, I wouldn't be serving Gage Worsley.
Gage Worsley, who is still a junior in standing, but we've referenced it a few times. He is also going to be part of this senior group Aloha send-off tomorrow night. Sani, the over-the-shoulder swing against 3 Hawaii blockers, and it doesn't matter. This is a very good-looking freshman swinger.
I'll tell you what, his mom played professional as well, and was his look at that set, amazing. Was his coach, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, whatever, for years. She coached him, and he was born in Europe and was spotted in a PE class. And they said, you should really, a scout came in and said, you should really play volleyball. So they moved to the mainland when he was in 7th grade, and he's been playing ever since. Great story.
Yeah, that's a heck of a story, as Voss is able to apply the hammer. And we're tied again. Guilherme Voss, 6'7" frosh from Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Big West Conference all-freshman selection a year ago. And that one fell off of a table. Somehow Faley was still able to get the pass. Now Hawaii playing it back. Here's Cowell off of the double block, and just sheer force from the Haleakala hammer.
Cowell doing a great job again, just using the block off of the high hands, recognizing the big solid block, and his experience has really just magnified through this year.
High ball set, Sani, 3 blockers waiting, and he still torches it. Goes off of Umler and out.
That had some serious heat and speed on it. I'm sure his dad, who's, by the way, Italian. The dad's Italian, the mom's American, are at home and probably watching and loving this.
Yeah, he's got some U.S. national team experience as well with the men's junior squad, as well as the U.S. boys youth under-19 squad.
And he was the #2 recruit, like you said earlier, but do you know who he was after? Clark Godbold of Long Beach, who was here last week.
Right.
And he was the #1, I guess, and this one was the #2.
Middle said that's static. Didn't get all of it, so chance here for Hawaii after the Worsley dig. And then how about that? Pinball action. It goes off the block, off of Cowell, and then back over the net for a Hawaii point.
And I'm curious if that actually counts as a kill. I believe it does, because it came off of his head and it dropped. So Colton Cowell using his noggin there on that play.
Well, I don't know about kill, but it was cool. That's our King Windward Nissan cool play. We've seen a lot of, how do we frame it, header action for Hawaii. You had Umler take one off of the dome. You had Tella take one off of the face. Cowell getting the forehead kill right there.
And it's still very early in this match, which is a little scary, actually.
9 serving 10, Schneidermiller. How about the layout pass by Cowell just to keep this sequence going? But Irvine with the advantage. Back row, Schneidermiller. Just dropping bombs.
So explosive and so quick. Hawaii caught a little bit off guard as he rips that ball down the middle. Schneidermiller with his 5th kill out of 9, hitting at .222 right now.
Officially part of the 1,000 career kill club at Irvine. Surpassed 1,000 in his last match, as Parapunov, also climbing the Hawaii charts in career kills, is dug up by Sani, but then Sani didn't get it above the tape.
Hawaii's block very well formed. There you see Patrick Gassman waving his hands, no touch, didn't clear. Making sure, sometimes you gotta be a little bit boisterous to make sure.
That is the most imposing block combo that Hawaii has to offer in 6'10" Pat Gassman and 6'9" Rado Parapunov. And how about that heat from Colton Cowell?
Ripping that ball from the backcourt. Very aggressive attack. I didn't get to see the speed on that thing, but I'm telling you, it was close to higher than 65.
12 serving 10, here it comes from the 2-time MIL Player of the Year. Decides to pull the string on that effort. And speaking of effort, Cole Gillis has been efforting throughout this match very effectively. 8 kills now for him. He is still without an error.
And he's actually carrying the load for his team. In the past, it has been, except for, like you said, 2 matches, Schneidermiller.
Static with the serve. Pass by Worsley is a good one. Here's Umler, and he's stuffed. Right back at you. It was Brian Garcia next to Vorenkamp.
Possibly a little tight on that set, but Garcia, again, the setter who's been out with that concussion, posting a huge block at the net there.
So 12 serving 12. Tella goes middle, it's Gassman. And Gassman, 4 kills on 4 swings, and that's just how it's been for him, right? He's not necessarily always going to be a volume guy in terms of his offensive production, but he is so efficient.
That's exactly it. Very efficient in the middle. And again, the consistency in the middle with him and Tella has been really improving throughout the season.
Iakana in to serve, and it's a good one. Pass tight to the net. It'll be played over. The up by Umler. Here's Rado through a double block. Popped up in the air by Schneidermiller. Sani, 3 blockers up, and he's still able to plug it through.
That's unfortunate. He just powered through that block, snuck it just barely between Hawaii's blockers. Sani keeping his high, efficient hitting record for the evening.
Yeah, he's kind of made that face a few times. First time when he served up the unintended facial on Umler, and then that time saying, I'm not sure how that got through, but I'll take it. Backside set, Rado tried to go wrist away and sent it wide. The block hadn't quite formed. Looked like one of those that Rado could have just gone Hulk smash on, but instead it's a point for Irvine.
He really likes to go for that sharp angle, and I'll tell you what a beautiful set by Tella, who went sliding and then reversed that set backwards. He went away from where the most common set would have been.
A pretty uncommon number right now being posted by Rado. 2 kills on 10 swings, 3 hitting errors. So he's in negative numbers, negative 100 to be exact.
And this team really can't afford him to be in that situation. He has been carrying the load for a long time. Trust me when I say he will pull himself out of this real soon.
Served by Garcia. Tella goes middle to Voss. So the middles right now for Hawaii hitting at a high clip. You have Patrick Gassman 4 for 4. You have Voss now with 4 kills on 5 swings and just 1 error.
And earlier in the year, we didn't see as much activity in the middle, and I think Hawaii's really been trying to work on that to establish their middles and take some of the pressure off of the opposites and the outside hitters.
Well, Parapunov looking to recalibrate a bit as Irvine gets to 15 first. Kavika hikes the rocky shoreline and into Waimanu Valley during a Friday the 13th full moon on Everything Hawaii. Sunday night at 7:30 exclusively on Spectrum OC 16. Well, as expected, Joel Schneidermiller, one of the go-to guys offensively for Irvine. 5 kills, hitting .222, but he also has 3 digs and has been drawing much of the attention from that Hawaii blocking scheme. Now, speaking of Friday the 13th, as we mentioned in that promo, things a little eerie from the Rado Parapunov vantage point as he, on cue, comes in with the swing but is unable to put it down. He is still hitting negative numbers at the moment. Hawai'I Vs is not, however. He has a handful of kills on 6 swings and just 1 error. He's hitting .667, but a very un-Rado-like performance thus far in this match.
We haven't seen it really this year so far. Maybe a little... he's just not quite in system, if you will.
Here's Umler with the serve. We're tied at 15 outside. And a good dig there on the swing by Schneidermiller by Rado. Umler from the back row, unable to get it down. Sani the roll shot. Good save. Worsley and swinging on 2. It's Jakob Tella.
And that play was masterminded by Gage Worsley. He came in, took that ball with his hands. He set it, and he purposely sets that ball up, knowing exactly where Tella is in the front court. Giving Tella the option, set it or hit it.
So quite the tug of war here brewing in this second stanza. We've already seen 5 lead changes. And Umler tickles the tape on the serve. Backside. And Sani sends it long, no touch up front. And so Hawaii now up a deuce.
Umler doing a little bit of a duck on that play, getting out of the way.
You know, I did have Rado Parapunov on my podcast as the guest interview here this week. So the Let's Talk Sports with Kanoa Leahy and Jordan Helly podcast jinx, possibly, being applied?
Not. Yeah. No, don't put that on yourself, Kanoa. He's got to own this.
Here's Tella. High and away it goes to Colton Cowell. And he's able to find that deep corner.
I think Colton Cowell just went up and over the block. I mean, he just elevated for that attack.
So timeout, Irvine, Hawaii by 3, and all smiles for Cowell. Welcome back. Let's check out the First Hawaiian Bank top 3, and this is kind of crazy. Career Big West Player of the Week awards, and you have the 2 top guys playing in this match. Rado Parapunov, though, with 14, leading Schneidermiller, who has 5. Parapunov getting his 4th this season alone last week, also getting his 4th career AVCA National Player of the Week honor. But yeah, that's kind of wild to think just how prolific Rado has been when it comes to that particular achievement.
He has pretty much separated himself and dominated that.
Tella goes outside. Cowell up on boosters, unable to put it down though, and we have a whistle.
A net violation.
Net violation called against Irvine.
I think Sani, he pointed to himself and said, I got the net.
And looks like David Niffen trying to get an explanation, maybe a confirmation from his players. And I think you saw Sani, you pointed out, he was likely the player who got stuck in the twine. And he actually admitted to Coach Niffen, yeah, I got a piece of it.
Yeah.
Overpass, Cowell catches in. Colton Cowell with 9 kills to lead everybody.
And you know, you can just feel the energy from Colton Cowell. Literally, when you look at him, he lights up. He's having fun. He's leading his team. That play, though, completely, again, made from the service line by Spyros Hakas, coming in as a serving specialist tonight.
A 6-1 run for the Warriors. Make it a 6-2 run with that serve into the net. That was momentarily the largest lead of this second frame for Hawaii. And Hakas back to the bench. Long exhale there from Sani. Here it comes. Irvine trailing by 3. Tella tried to go over on 2 again, but the blocker was waiting for him. It was Schneidermiller denying access, and then a little miscommunication there as Umler and Worsley came into each other, and you see them trying to work it out verbally. The communication for a guy in Umler who's making his first start of the season.
That's right, and it was right in his lap, and Gage Worsley is so used to controlling and taking all the balls that he possibly can. He wants to handle that first contact.
Umler, remember, this now is just the 4th set that he's played in all season. Here's Rado. Rattled around. Can Irvine return it? Yes, they can. Great effort there on the Anteaters side. Tella goes middle to Gassman, and that one will not be returned.
And that's the exact play that Charlie Wade has been wanting his team to work on, a transition play where they're digging it and then they're running what they call the offense. Pat Gassman has been clutch in the middle, driving hard, and his connection really nice. Some great scramble by Irvine, just trying to get that ball back over the net. Again, Worsley taking that first contact.
Gassman perfect so far, 5 kills, 5 attempts, no errors as Tella goes into the net.
Again, we talked about critical times in a match when serving becomes more and more critical. When you hit that 20 mark, it really does become more important, if you will.
Both teams hitting pretty well here. 300 for Irvine in this second set, 375 for Hawaii. As there, right on cue, is another one of those ill-timed service errors for the Anteaters. It has hampered them, particularly around this final turn, if you will, of each frame.
It really has. In game 1, 7 missed serves in one set is a lot.
22 serving 19. Cowell with it. Pass by Faley. He's able to stick that. And then Seconda finds that corner right in front of where Charlie Wade was viewing the match.
Seconda, the lefty, doing a nice job on that right side. His 5th kill on the evening.
And the 4th straight start for Seconda was a Big West Conference all-freshman team selection back in 2019. Static the serve, overpass by Worsley, dunked down by Gillis. And so a rare receiving error by Gage Worsley, and all of a sudden Irvine within a point.
Very rare error by Worsley. I think he may have been trying to push it up a little too far forward on that one.
Handles it with 2 open hands this time, and the set to Gassman paying dividends once more.
Smooth, very smooth, still batting 1,000 right now for Patrick Gassman, whose mom, Jean, flew in hoping that she would be able to come into the arena like the Worsleys, who also flew in. They were told that they had a great possibility of getting in, so they still came anyways.
High ball outside, and it is sent wide by Gillis.
And Gillis, that's actually his first hitting error on the evening. Got 9 kills, 1 error.
And it is aloha ball for Hawaii in the second set.
I believe there's a challenge being called right now, possibly by Coach Niffen, for a touch off of that last play.
All right, so Ernie Ho is the official on the floor here, the R2. Tom Saunders is the R1 up atop the ladder. Kevin Chun, Mark Nakashima, the 2 line judges, and so Ernie's going to take a look at the review. You mentioned some of the family members traversing to the islands, and there was some discussion, I think some certain hope that fans in some capacity would be allowed in the arena. But as you may have seen in some of the news reports throughout the week, that is something that is likely not going to happen because there hasn't been the county-wide or even really statewide agreement on that.
Right, and as we take a look at the replay here, they're looking for some in or out, actually, not a touch on this. Wow, that is very tough on that angle. What do you see, Kanoa?
Well, the line judge is right there. And that is awfully close. And one of those that's, it'll be hard perhaps to overturn, but who knows? The call will stand.
I think there was a fair challenge. From Niffen's angle, I could see how you would think that would be in.
I mean, why not?
That's right.
I mean, you're trying to prevent yourself from going down 0-2 here on the road against the top-ranked team in the country.
Coach Niffen talking to Davis Lau there on his right, a local boy out of Punahou. started the year as libero for the team.
Aloha ball for Hawaii in the second. Gillis off the triple block and out.
Garcia going back to Gillis on that play. Gillis just hitting that last ball like maybe 2 millimeters out.
And so here is Sakanda. Credit Dylan Jai with that assist on that play. But still aloha ball here for Hawaii. And that's an ace. Well-timed delivery that time by Alexan Sakanda. And that will prompt a Hawaii timeout. So things getting a bit uncomfortable for the Rainbow Warriors. After the service ace, you know, the service errors have really been such a detrimental aspect of this match so far for UC Irvine. 11 service errors to this point. So the rare flipping of the script, if you will, where they have the ace that puts them within a point.
That's right, and I think it's a perfect timeout by Coach Charlie Wade and his staff to slow things down. You got a lefty that just bombed an ace on you. Let's see if Irvine, when they come back from this timeout, if they take a little something off of that serve.
All right, well, Colton Cowell leading the way offensively for Hawaii. 9 kills, hitting .615. Also has a pair of blocks, has an ace and a dig to his stat line.
Yeah, he's having a nice night. He's in system. He's celebrating.
Leading the way for Irvine. In fact, leading all hitters right now, Cole Gillis. You know, it's interesting because he's been getting perhaps the majority of his sets from Dylan Jai, the 6'1" freshman, who David Niffen says reminds him a little of Joe Worsley because of the way the ball sits in his palms, just that extra nanosecond, almost maybe crossing the line in some instances. But we have not seen anything but pretty good sets from Jai here so far in this match. Let's send it over to Ryan.
Thanks, Gano. Well, Coach Niffen reminding his team the game plan, which is to serve aggressively. He recognizes that the only way to keep Hawaii out of system and to stay with Hawaii is to be aggressive from the service line. He said Hawaii has got great out-of-system hitters, but the only way that any team is really able to compete with them is by keeping them out of system from the get-go, from the service line. So the service pressure from Irvine will continue to be strong moving into this latter part of this set. Back over to you guys.
Thanks a lot, Ryan. Easier said than done for sure, but you got to give Irvine some credit because they've been able to do just that and hitting for a pretty good percentage as well, actually out-blocking Hawaii to this point in the match, although it remains aloha ball here in the second in favor of the Warriors. Here it comes from Sakanda. Pass by Worsley, forces Tella to track it down. Back set Rado through the block and down. And Patapunov, prior to that, hitting negative numbers, is able to get his 3rd kill of the match. That should put him at the flat line level. And so Rado hoping that his night might turn just a little bit, although despite Patapunov not having his typical offensive flurry, it is Hawaii with an opportunity to crack open the broom closet at Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center. Welcome back. Let's take a look at the McDonald's match statistics. Lisa, what do you think?
Well, you look at the numbers, they look pretty close. The thing that jumps out to me, obviously, is going to be those service aces to errors. Irvine struggling, 11 service errors. The number's close. You got a 5-point game when you look at the matchups, 25-22, 25-23. Those are very close, and that's why I think the numbers are pretty similar as well.
Yeah, I think the timing of some of those service errors particularly egregious for UC Irvine, but that does not take away from the fact that Hawaii's middles have been performing at a very efficient level. Guilherme Voss, 5 kills on 6 swings, just 1 error, hitting .667. Also has a block to his stat line. And then Pat Gassman, 6 kills on 6 swings. He is still error-free, so an unblemished offensive performance thus far for Pat Gassman.
And I just love that the middles have gotten more offensively involved and are holding their own, truly. Colton Cowell still out in front as an outside hitter, leading all the attackers for Hawaii with 9 kills at .615. Hawaii's block still not totally on sync tonight just yet. What do you think, Kanoa?
Yeah.
3 blocks.
Yeah, not certainly up to statistically what they've established this season. Averaging 3 blocks per set. They have 3 blocks for the entire match here tonight as Parapunov, who was able to put down that last point in set number 2, gets the first point here in set number 3. And Parapunov now with 4 kills. Remember, coming into this match, we had an opportunity to crack the top 10. Needed 7 kills to surpass Dejan Miladinovic for 10th all-time in program history. As that one is blasted off of the Parapunov block attempt by Sakanda for a point. Miladinovic sitting at 1,198 career kills. So Parapunov 3 away from surpassing that.
He's going to get there, and I'll put money on it, Kanoa. It will be tonight.
Pass by Cowell. And in the middle set, it's Gassman like clockwork. And that's something that, you know, we talk about Colton Cowell and his incredible ability, and certainly his journey has been something remarkable in Manoa. But what he does in serve receive, I mean, that pass makes that middle attack possible. And this is a guy whose reception percentage is .965 coming into this match. That's just 7 errors on 202 service reception attempts.
And there it is again, those numbers. It is phenomenal, the numbers that these players are putting out there. They just continue to amaze when you really do the math.
2 serving 2. And they go tit for tat on service errors. Cowell and Static, and so here's Gassman now behind the line.
And Static really a little silent tonight. We haven't seen a lot from him. He's got 2 kills so far on the match in 5 attempts. Usually he's putting up higher numbers and bigger blocks.
High toss here, Gassman. Middle set, and that's Vornkamp. Again, making his return after missing 7 matches with a leg injury. One of several players being moved around like chess pieces by David Niffen. The guy who was previously a setter before transitioning to middle blocker here this year.
That's right, and Niffen has really had to move them around like chess players. He has started 4 freshmen in the last 5 matches, but tonight he's not doing that. He's bringing back those injured reserve players and giving them opportunities in this match.
And Voss sort of paintbrushed that one, and it goes long for an Irvine point. Just the second hitting error for Voss.
Not a great connection there.
Sakanda about to bring it. And that one hit a little fat, right? It was like a knuckleball that sailed over the net. Long.
Yeah, I'll use your term, the wrist away. He kind of didn't have any wrist away on it, and it just sailed. It just kept going.
So here's Rado. 6'9" senior from Sofia, Bulgaria. Says that volleyball is just in his family from a young age. He said everyone in my family played volleyball. Not necessarily professionally or anything like that, but just everybody played it. And so he was introduced to the game at a very young age, and it wasn't very long after that he started realizing, growing into that frame and applying some of the skills that he has exhibited throughout his career, that it was something he should take seriously. And so he said in his early teen years, that's when he thought, all right, I think I need to make this volleyball thing a significant part of my life.
And you know, he's he's an amazing, at 6'9" and left-handed, I think it's a perfect sport to line him up with, truly.
Good pass by Worsley in the middle set to Voss. You know, there was a time this season where Charlie Wade said that they had to almost beg Jakob Tella to set the middle more frequently, and a lot of that was actually a reflection of what he felt like they could exploit more against UC Irvine the first time around to open the season. And so Tella obviously obliging since.
Yeah, and I think with the time he's gained a lot more confidence with his hitters. There's been a few different players in the middle there. We had Max Rosenfeld earlier in the season filling in, and then Gassman struggled one night, and then Voss was in. So every hitter has a different set and a different reach and approach and style. So you got to get familiar with those players.
Warrenkamp sending that one out. So here's Umler. What do you think about the way Philip has played here in his first start of the season? And a good time to ask, perhaps, coming off of the ace dealt out of the deck.
You know what? He's like the steady Eddie. He does the little things. He's not going to make a lot of errors. He's the emotional guy when things go right, but he is just, he does the little things, and he does the little things well. And I'm happy for him. I'm happy to see him get this opportunity to get back out on the court and contribute.
Yeah, he's been through some stuff over the last calendar year, so great to see him out there. And certainly he has placed a bit of a foundation down tonight, something that he can perhaps build upon going further into this season and beyond. Again, Chaz Galloway out sick here tonight. Philip Umler getting the start as that second outside hitter. He's able to lay off of that one. He had a notion.
They say if you have to jump and take it overhand, chances are really good that it's out. It's almost like you're going fishing, you know, like, hey, batter, like, or grab this.
Here's Voss, Hawaii up 2 in the third. Floats it into the back row. And Sani comes swooping in and goes off the block and out.
Sani tooling the block, hitting hard into it. Colton Cowell and Gassman posting a nice block, but not a lot you can do when the angle of that hit, the trajectory is set.
Here comes the jump serve from Sani. Oh boy, that was 72 miles an hour. Umler out of system from the back row. Chance here for Irvine to tie it. They go outside Schneidermiller, and how about that thin slice? Cross court and down, and we're knotted at 8.
Well, I'll tell you what, the hustle, Schneidermiller, a great angle, but the hustle by Patrick Gassman on that play into the stands. He comes back and he actually got up on the block. Pretty impressive.
Another impressive serve. That one hit 68 in miles per hour. Schneidermiller, the roll shot. And all of a sudden, Irvine in front.
Schneidermiller doing a great job blasting away on that last one, and then just taking that same approach and doing it. He's got all the defense on hold.
Yeah, you don't see that shot working at a very high frequency in the men's game. That one was surgical from Joel Schneidermiller. First touch by Umler again. Hawaii out of system, so high ball goes to Cowell off the block. Pancake layout save Sani. Schneidermiller the save, but now they will blow the whistle and they will rule that hit the Terraflex. At least that appears to be the call from the officiating crew, and David Niffen is up along the sideline seeking clarification.
Take a look on the replay and see if they get. It looks like he got under that. A pancake dig is what they call that. He's screaming at his lungs up.
Maybe it just got down beside that hand.
I thought maybe they were calling the set, actually, but I don't think that was it. I think you're right. It was whether it hit the ground.
9 serving 9. Here's Sani from the back row, 3 blockers up. And you can tell this guy is going to be a headache for the rest of the Big West Conference.
He really is. He's going to only get better. A true freshman at 6'8", number 2 recruit in the country for men's volleyball.
He now has 9 kills, hitting 400. Schneidermiller the serve, rattled the tape. Cowell from the opposite pin handcuffs the libero Faley. And Colton Cowell with his 11th kill after he applies the perfect pass.
Colton Cowell loves it when he gets to serve, receive, and then the setter sets him. It's like he is completely dialed in. When he takes that first ball and they set him, you see it often on the bic, and you see it when he's in right front.
Sani. Well, he is starting to unload. He's into double figures in kills. He has 10.
Irvine passing a little more consistently this set, allowing them to distribute the ball better.
Static pass by Cowell. Tella sets up Rado through the double block and down. That is kill number 5 for Patapunov. So 1 away from tying Dejan Miladinovic for 10th on the all-time career kills list at UH. And 2 away from claiming the 10th spot to himself. 11 up. And Gassman, a little too much gas. It goes long for an Irvine point.
Getting a little bit underneath that ball. Very interesting serve receive here. Look at how Hawaii has really crept in. Very shallow on that jump float serve receive.
Back set Rado off the block and out. Well, you wanted to put your money on the fact that Rado would perhaps surpass Miladinovic for number 10 on the all-time kills list, and he now has 6 put-downs, so he's tied. 1,198 career kills for Patapunov.
The numbers keep adding up, and you know what? He's just too good of a player. He's going to self-correct no matter what.
Serves it long. So the team's trading blows. This has kind of been the trend here so far this evening. Hawaii has been able to pull away at the end of sets, winning the first 25-22, the second 25-23. Service errors have hampered UC Irvine. That is now 15 service errors on the night.
Yeah, they're trying to go for it, but they're making a lot of unforced errors. You talked about it earlier, Kanoa, near the end of the game, but trying to keep Hawaii out of system.
Backside, and Sani is denied access. Colton Cowell and Guilherme Voss saying, ole, and turning it back.
And Hawaii with their 4th block on the evening. Here we take a quick look at that complete penetration over the net by both blockers, Voss and Colton Cowell.
I mean, did you see where Colton Cowell was in comparison to the top of the net? I mean, that is incredible as you see the service error from Umle.
You think he's worked just a little bit hard in the weight room? From when he came into this program to where he is now, it's a complete, almost metamorphosis.
I mean, he's a beast. 14, serving 14. Tella goes behind the head to Voss, who gets blocked and denied himself. So Irvine for the 3rd time, first to 15. Be a part of the game. Get your fan cutout for all games at Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center. Visit HawaiiAthletics.com and click on Fan Zone for details on how to purchase. Well, if you could purchase some stocks on some of the freshman contributors for UC Irvine, this would be a good one to support. Francesco Sani, 10 kills, 353, just a frosh, and he has shown some of that upside that made him one of the top prospects in all the land coming out of the prep ranks. But Colton Cowell, I mean, just an explosion on the outside pin coming out of that timeout.
12 kills in 16 attempts, hitting at .688. Kaboom, kabang. Amazing. During that break, that last little break there, they played Our House. That's becoming a common theme around this place.
That's right. That one goes off the tape, and an unfortunate ricochet there for Spiros Hakas as Irvine jumps in front again.
Voss coming back. Excuse me, not coming back to the match.
It's a dangerous rotation here. You have Sani behind the service line, and we saw him put together a little run the last time he was back there. And for Hawaii, they're able to quite literally dodge that BB. 71-mile-an-hour serve goes long.
You ever notice that every time you talk about somebody doing something from behind the service line, They miss, or do you bocce it, or what's going on there?
You know, superheroes have all kinds of different powers, right? Aquaman could talk to the fish, and I have the ability to bocce servers. Sani, the whippy swing, misses long. And so Hawaii, by virtue of the Sani out serve and the Sani out hit, jumps in front.
Speaking about superheroes, the Anteater were named from a superhero from a long time ago by a comic strip. Years ago, I did a little research on why they were named the Anteaters, and it was a student vote back in 1965.
Schneidermiller clobbering that set on the outside.
Clobbering it and then yelling, you know, he's getting the team behind him. He's trying to get some energy behind his team here.
So we're tied at 17, neck and neck, third set. Out of the pass there by Worsley. Middle set, Gassman into the twine. His first hitting error of the match.
And you gotta love the set, actually, and the pass. Gage Worsley passing on the dime, and a great set selection by Tella. Just an unforced error. And very rare tonight. Gassman's been spot on.
Oh, but again, the ill-timed service error. Just when Irvine maybe has Hawaii on its heels a bit and has an opportunity to create some separation, the out serve has once again reared its head.
And that's what Coach Niffen was talking about when we spoke with him earlier in the week, is the consistency. We just can't seem to be more consistent in the longer rallies and in the matchups.
Here's Cowell. Pass by Faley. A perfect one. Good diving effort there by Worsley, but unable to save the Static swat. And Static from Watertown, Wisconsin.
His third kill on the evening. All-time block leader at UC Irvine. He's got his name and number in their record books as well.
Yeah, just about every blocking category, whether it's career, single match, single season, it's all Scott Static. Schneidermiller off of 1 foot. He's able to slice it down.
Those are the broken plays that kind of, they're out of system, and a scramble dig, a scramble set, and he comes off of one leg for the backcourt. And again, his expression, he's got this energy that he's just putting his team on his back and carrying them right now.
We've had 16 ties, 7 lead changes in this third frame as Potapunov lays into that set. And for Potapunov, that is kill number 7. And so props to Rado as he officially takes over 10th place in the all-time Hawaii career kills list.
He continues to climb that ladder.
Remember, the game has changed, right? It's evolved. Scoring is different. The rules are different.
And COVID has created such a unique situation where they played last year and now they're all playing again this year.
And now Rado rolling a little bit. That is kill number 8. Remember, he was hitting negative for a good portion of this match. He is well into the positive numbers now, percentage-wise. But you think about what a guy like Potapunov could have done prior to the rally scoring era, right? Where they were racking up in those long marathon matches, all kinds of opportunities. I mean, this is a guy, I believe his career high for a single match is 30. I mean, we would see that number eclipsed regularly back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
So Hawaii jumps in front, timeout Irvine. Hawaii hoping to close the deal. Ketchimer will face off against Punahou, and Kamehameha take on Mid-Pacific in an ILH baseball doubleheader tomorrow starting at 3:45 p.m. only on Spectrum OC 16. Hawaii up 1 out of the timeout, up 2 sets to none, but Irvine isn't ready to pack it in as Alexandre Sakanda crushes one to knock things up at 21 apiece.
Irvine really right in this game and feeling the energy shift to their side of the net. You can see their confidence slowly building. throughout this match.
Yeah, I would agree. They've had a pretty formidable body language for what that's worth here throughout this match. Even though they trailed 2-0. Middle set, Voss popped up by Faley. High ball set goes to Sakanda by the triple block and down.
Sakanda taking a little something off of that, identifying that triple block. A nice dig there. An off play, out of system again. Attack from the backcourt. Hawaii scrambling on defense.
Maybe the advantage of having an outside hitter like Cole Gillis, who's also a libero and skilled with the hands, setting it cross court. Sakanda the serve. Pass by Cowell is a good one. Backside, Rado off the block and out. And we're tied again. So Rado has turned his evening around. From hitting negative numbers, now he has 9 kills. Hitting .316.
The U-turn. That's what good athletes do. I mean, you know, you knew he wouldn't stay there.
Can't keep him down for long. 22 all, but he does serve it into the twine.
Sometimes you go back there and you don't stay as focused as you should, not concentrating as much as you should.
So here's Gillis. Oh, and it's an ace. Just touched the top of that tape and changed the angle enough to throw Gage Worsley a little offbeat. And so aloha ball for Irvine in the third, looking to extend this match.
And those let serves really do get you. Gage Worsley was on his way. He's so quick-footed. He's there. He actually almost beat the ball, and then it tickled the tape, and there you saw it. Hawaii just trying to tone things down, get a little bit more time.
This third set has been back and forth, to say the least. We've had 19 ties. Coming up on It's a Hawaii Thing, Brooke and Lanai talk with Eric E. Panda Hernandez, brother and session tour drummer for Bruno Mars. Monday night at 6:30 exclusively on Spectrum OC16. And David Niffen, I think, has to be pleased with the fact that his team continues to put up a fight in a match. They were down 0-2. They're going to be here for a long period of time, right? They're obviously trying to calibrate themselves for next week. They could have easily packed it in tonight and thought, all right, let's try to get back on pace tomorrow. But instead, they're looking to make a match of this, and they're 1 point away from pushing it to at least a fourth.
And this is really where Hawaii has to dig deep, and you see a lot of character. They do these drills nonstop where they start at 20, 24, A team versus B team, and see how they fare. So they're very used to this competition and the risk that comes involved with this next point.
David Niffen loves coming out to Hawaii. Always makes Leonard's a stop every time he's out here. Now, I don't know if those plans are altered because of the COVID scenario. All I know is when I'm driving down Kapahulu Avenue and I drive by Leonard's, the line is still down the block.
It's always down the block at Leonard's.
Here's Rado. Cross court, diving save, played off the net. Tella able to crush it through the block and down. That was it was a courageous decision there by Jakob Tella.
And Jakob Tella at 6'6" and a lefty, playing big at the net, taking an opportunity of a broken play.
And so it is still aloha ball Irvine here in the third. Umler making sure that one got in. Outside, Schneidermiller dug up by Umler. Voss bump set to Cowell. Off the top of the tape, it tightrope walks its way out of bounds. Point Irvine, and we aren't out yet. At Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center, the Anteaters able to push it to a fourth. Welcome back. We are headed to a fourth here at Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center. The Anteaters able to take a very competitive third set, 25-23. So we play on as we take a look at some scores from around the Manoa Athletic Program. Women's water polo with a win over Irvine. Bakersfield defeating the Rainbow Warrior baseball team. Aaron Davenport taking a no-hitter into the 6th inning would end up actually getting the loss in that game. So hard luck continues for Aaron Davenport as you take a look at the single game final. Riverside over the Rainbow Wahine softball team, 2-1. And beach volleyball, Rainbow Wahine ranked 15th, going 5-0 over the Oregon Ducks. And then backing that up with another perfect performance against Portland. And then going 4-1 over the Huskies of Washington. So solid day for the Rainbow Wahine beach volleyball squad. And the indoor men's team hoping to cut this thing off in 4. But Irvine with some other plans, and they have a certain energy about them that we saw exhibited in that third frame. Into the 4th we go. Here's Colton Cowell, and he exerts some energy on that set. 13 kills now for Cowell. He leads everybody. Is now at 13 kills in a match for the 7th time this season. He has gone for 13 or more 6 previous matches. Backside Schneidermiller off the block and out. And this just feels like this could be one of those sprints to the finish line type of matches here.
I agree. It is, because with Irvine taking that third set, they've regained this confidence and they feel like they can come in here and play their type of volleyball right now.
And serving one, Worsley with the pass. Backside, here's Cowell, and we've seen that a couple of times. Cowell from the opposite pin, providing the lightning bolt.
He's just as effective in my mind from the right side as he is from the left, but he hits more common 2 rotations on that left side and is a primary passer.
So 14 kills now for Colton. 2 serving 1, he serves. Middle set, Static able to pop it down.
Scott Static, 4 kills, 0 errors, but again, offensively a little quiet. That's 1 kill a game so far for Scott Static.
Just so rangy.
At 7 feet, yes, very rangy.
He was also a #1 recruit, according to Volleyball Mag, coming out of high school.
Yeah, back in 2016. He's been around a while. He's been across the net from, all these guys. Colton Cowell, they've seen each other through the years.
No
Gassman.
kidding.
That's what COVID did again, gave them an opportunity to play one more full season, shortened season, but full.
And there's Vornkamp getting it down for Irvine. Yeah, this is interesting because you're right. We're celebrating senior weekend for Hawaii. And they have guys who have been part of the program for 6 years. You have the same thing in some instances on the opposite side for Irvine. And these are also players who saw the transition through from the MPSF days to the newly established Big West Conference for men's volleyball. And so this is kind of an interesting collection of seniors. Not just that transition, but then going through the COVID season. I mean, these are a bunch of players who have seen it all.
They really have. And the Big West Conference, really, I do believe this year is one of the most difficult conferences in the nation. Coach Niffen actually said, our record really doesn't show a true reflection of it because we're only playing in-conference matches. Usually at this time of the year, we've played many other teams and we've got a lot more wins.
Sani cracks it off the block and out. Sani with 11 put downs. And that's an ace right down the line. Cole Gillis.
And Gillis serving from that far left back on the court. A very interesting spot going to the right of Gage Worsley, going right at Parapunov, who has to jump out of the way.
Yeah, not a very large window to target, but he did so perfectly there. Took something off that second serve. Here's Rado, and that is some thunder. Parapunov now into double figures. So remember when we were lamenting how un-Rado-like his performance was? Well, now he has hit double figures in kills in 20 straight matches going back to last season. He's hitting .333, and we're tied at 5. Good serve there by Umler. Great pass, however. And then Schneidermiller putting everything he had into that one.
Schneidermiller just flying out of that left front. He's got this look in his eye right now that is a little dangerous.
I mean, we have some cannons on either side of the net. I mean, Schneidermiller, when you see him swing, he just swings so hard. It is such a violent type of swinging motion. High bump set from Worsley, goes to Rado, unable to put it down. Here's Schneidermiller by the double block and down, was able to put some finesse on that one. And Irvine up a pair.
Three-time All-American. You know, Coach Niffen talked about him coming in out of Northern California as one of the top recruits, but he said he wasn't a real confident guy like in the classroom, but since then he's been on the honor roll numerous years, and just the development he's seen in this young man has been amazing.
And this time they go the other side to Sani off the block. The up by Rado. Tella running out of room was able to center it. Free chance here for the Anteaters. Middle set, Static bounces it off of the Terraflex. And what came into play there was this new partition that's been set up between where our broadcast booth is and the playing surface. As you see right there, that partition implemented in anticipation of the conference tournament next week. And basically what it does is it creates the same amount of space on the far side opposite us as there is now on the near side. So it's just to create a little more balance on the playing surface. As Schneidermiller avoids the triple block, short arms it to the near side. And it is UC Irvine up by 4, timeout Hawaii, and the tables are turning. Take your internet with you. Spectrum Internet customers get free unlimited access to over 4,000 Wi-Fi hotspots across the islands. Well, Hawaii, meanwhile, experiencing a cold spot right now. A 4-0 run in favor of the Anteaters as Irvine up by 4 in the 4th. Hawaii leading 2-1. Tella, the difficult back set block was the Rado attempt. Good cover there by Umler, and the sequence continues. Middle set, Static just placing it down. So the 7-foot frame of Scott Static right now, serving him well as he is just guiding the ball into very particular spots in that Hawaii defense.
Irvine definitely making some huge adjustments, trying to get their middles more involved in the offense. They've been heavily relying on their outsides so far in this match.
We have a change out there for Hawaii as Max Rosenfeld is put into the match. Two-hand pass, Umler. Tella goes D-set to Rado, and he pumps it long. Point for Irvine. And that is now 6 straight scored by the Anteaters. And Hawaii reeling here a bit.
Hawaii trying to change things up just a little bit.
And you're going to have Umler replaced as Kanai Akana comes in.
And we've seen Kanai Akana earlier tonight as a serving specialist primarily, but Coach Charlie Wade said he's one of the hardest working guys in the gym, and he knew, put him in against CSUN when they were on the mainland, and he had a really nice match.
And Cowell, speaking of violent swings, he put everything into that one and just punches it through that Irvine block to end the 6-0 run. But Hawaii's got some catching up to do. Max Rosenfeld, who always seems to answer the call when he's put in there to try to apply some energy. He certainly does that. Can he do so from the service line? First one goes in, but then Schneidermiller puts a quick end to that rotation.
That's a tough role. You know, you're sitting for 3 games, and now all of a sudden you're thrown in, and you've got to, you know, come in and block, run the middle, and serve. So tough, but we'll see if Charlie Wade and staff keep him in that slot.
Sani into the net, so a break for Hawaii. What are you seeing, though, out of Irvine? Why are they making life so difficult in this 4th set for the Rainbows?
Well, I think really they've cut down on their service errors earlier in the match. That was huge. But they're getting more confident on their offense. They've made some kills. They've had a couple little blocks that have changed the momentum of this game.
Good up there by Akana. Outside, Colton Cowell two-hands it deep, but too deep. He's trying to pinpoint it to that far corner.
And what you're going to see is Gage Worsley's trying to take control of the team a little bit more. He's talking with everybody, walking around saying, hey, you guys, let's slow this down. Come on, we can do this.
Schneidermiller, who comes into this match 3rd all-time for Irvine in service aces, is denied by the tape there.
And the hitting percentage for Irvine just in this current set is at .833. That's one of the hugest differences. Hawaii in this match is at .270.
That's remarkable. 10 kills, 12 attempts, no errors for Irvine in this 4th set, and Cowell goes into the twine.
And Hawaii now making some of those unforced errors, a little flustered, I think. There you see the service errors.
Static into the twine. Yeah, it's almost as if Hawaii went up 2-0, kind of put it in simmer mode, and now they're trying to see if they can bring themselves back to a boil, which is what is going to be required to get back into this 4th set, certainly. As Irvine, they've found a certain rhythm.
Absolutely, and just any team in this Big West, as Long Beach State figured out tonight when they lost to Cal State Northridge, you cannot put yourself in cruise control. There's too much competition.
Well, that helps perhaps serve as a bit of a spark. You have Gassman forcing the overpass, and then Potapunov doing Potapunov things.
Yakuptela will continue to set Rado Parapunov on that outlet set.
10 serving 14. Gassman upping the velo on that attempt. And then with the two-hand save fall into his wallet, the set goes to Akana. Was there a touch? No touch, it goes long. And Irvine gets to 15 first for the 4th time. Well, Joel Schneidermiller living up to his reputation as quite simply one of the best outside hitters in college volleyball. He has done it for a multitude of years, and tonight 15 kills, hitting .571. And the vibe in this building, again, a fan-free atmosphere, but the vibe nonetheless has started to favor UC Irvine.
It really has. He's taken on the energy. You could see it slowly erupting in him, and it continued to go with each kill that he got. We talked about him early, 3-time All-American. He didn't get there because of his performance. He's gotten there because of his performances.
And then he stuffs Rado. I mean, the two meeting at the apex, and Schneidermiller shutting the door.
And Rado not used to getting shut down very often.
So 16 serving 10. Here's Rado, the set, not quite on target, but Potapunov, who's been superb out of system, able to make the adjustment and still get the kill down. So he has 12 put downs on 27 swings. He does have 5 errors. Hasn't quite been locked in from the service line either. They could use a Rado run right here. Down a handful. Tickles the tape, the pass by Faley, a nice one. Schneidermiller rolls it off the fingertips of the block. One hand save Worsley. The setup Rosenfeld to Akana, has to just touch it over. Chance here for the Anteaters. High ball, Schneidermiller by a triple block. Gets it home.
Schneidermiller is just taking over in the front court right now, literally moving that ball around 3 blockers, a nice tight block, and somehow he gets it through them.
He has been incredible over the course of the last 2 sets. And Irvine having to make a rotation adjustment there.
And Rado questioning the up ref, Tom Saunders.
It was Schneidermiller who was actually setting up back behind the service line, and now I think Charlie Wade's going to try to get an explanation from Ernie Ho.
You know, it sure is nice. These coaches before the match were actually talking with one another, joking around, catching up, you know, through the years kind of a thing. And just the calmness of both of them right now is, after last weekend, really nice to see.
It is quite the contrast from some of the imagery we witnessed the last time we brought you a Hawaii home match here on Spectrum Sports. Charlie Wade and Alan Knipe were certainly in a much more confrontational mode. Now, that said, Charlie is vehemently arguing his point as it relates to perhaps the rotational error, would-be rotational error for UC Irvine.
And Rado wants in on it as well.
That's what the Charlie's claiming. 7 was in the
You
back
see
row.
the officiating crew.
Now he's left front. So if we miss it,
And I'm really not sure if he went back there and grabbed the ball and then they switched afterwards, if that's illegal or not.
So 19 is the correct server. 6 was the correct server.
They were out of rotation. But the serve had not happened yet.
See Tom Saunders
So we just move on.
gesturing for Rado to sort of back away a little bit.
No, if 7 attacked the ball in the front of the shoot. But she gave me the correct server. Yeah. But she didn't give me a wrong server. There's no wrong server. Okay, they're just questioning.
All right, let's check in with Ryan. What do you got for us, Ryan?
So the question right now is the lineup for, and the difference between where Schneidermiller is and Gillis. Schneidermiller just went 3 rotations to the front row, and so he was supposed to go back to serve, but they were out of rotation, and so they essentially put Schneidermiller back at the left front, and Gillis went back to where he's at right now, the service line, meaning that Schneidermiller gets another 3 rotations through the front line. So Hawaii is saying that that should not be allowed. They should have checked the lineup before to make sure that the players were in the right positioning. And UCI just went through 3 rotations in the wrong rotation before being identified. Back over to you guys.
Oh, that sounds awfully messy from the officiating standpoint, right? I mean, how far back do you go to first recognize a rotation error? And how do you then even attempt to correct that as it pertains to the status of the match?
Well, the scorekeeper over there is supposed to be the one identifying and making sure that it's the right server every time you go back. If that wasn't caught by the scores person, then it's really hard to say that you can go back 3 rotations and play through the front row again.
He's either challenging something or we got to move on. We can't just stand around and talk. All right, I'll tell you. Okay, I see what you're saying.
See Rado, quick back and forth with Tom Saunders, now talking, or at least joining in the discussion between Charlie Wade and Ernie Ho. And Ernie's going to go back across the floor now. I mean, we saw these kinds of pauses a couple weekends back for a whole different set of circumstances. So let's see if we can listen in.
He can do that.
No, but he's not.
We're not going to waste any more time with this.
He said 7 blocked Rado and 7 attacked the ball.
But I don't know that.
Yeah, okay, so that's what I told Charlie.
We don't know that.
I told Charlie that.
And we can't go to the video and look at that. That's not how this
So we
works.
move on.
So if he wants to challenge something, that's challengeable. You can do that. Otherwise, we're moving on. You got about 5 seconds before I blow the whistle. What's your decision? I already told you. If you want to challenge something, I'm not ruling anything on something that he and I didn't see. So if you have a challengeable challenge, you do it. Otherwise, you got to go.
So you got to like that this up ref is taking control of the match, and he's saying if I didn't see it, then we can't go back and ask the media to play it over again for us. We need to move forward with this match.
because that doesn't fall into the category of a challengeable offense. And so that's what you heard Tom Saunders saying. If it's not something that can legally be challenged, then we have no choice but to play on, and it basically becomes an error that is missed and that is allowed to slip by this officiating crew.
Absolutely, the officiating crew and the scoring crew, because the scoring crew are the people that actually mark it down, and the rotations and all the substitutions. They have a paper trail of this.
Wow.
So he said 5 seconds. It's been about another 15, and I am positive that Tom Saunders saw the delay in game last weekend, 2 weekends ago in this arena.
Okay, so it appears as though Charlie Wade is issuing a challenge, or at least Ernie Ho is taking a look at some element of a previous play. So now we are getting word that Charlie is challenging an illegal back row attacker on the last play. So that is something that he can challenge.
He blocked him in his back row. 7 blocked him with the board in his back row.
And that's Schneidermiller attacking the ball. And I do not believe that he's back row, because he's standing in the front row right now. He went back to serve and then switched places and came back into the front court. Assistant coach Aaron Johnson talking to the team a little bit.
Okay, so Schneidermiller, the one hitting, was supposed to be a back row player in that rotation. Let's check in with Ryan for the explanation.
So technically, the only way that Charlie could challenge that is by saying that there was a back row attacker, because of the fact that the way that they were lining up, technically Schneidermiller was supposed to be left back. And so when he hit that ball, he was in right front, which means he was a back row attacker, illegally attacking, even though the bottom ref through that first 3 rotations did not recognize that UCI was out of rotation for that entire sequence.
And so it becomes a very small sort of Band-Aid applied to a much more egregious series of offenses. Correct. Because of how long they were out of rotation. Yeah, so Hawaii gets that 1 point back, but UCI was out of rotation for at least 3 rotations. And meanwhile, Schneidermiller, wherever he is on the floor, continues to just rain thunder on the Rainbow Warriors. But we appreciate Ryan's explanation on that, because yeah, that was a pretty messy one.
That was, and that's exactly where you might be missing of the mark a little bit. The Mark Presho, where he's keeping track of where the players should be, and Hawaii's scores table should be keeping track of that as well.
Meanwhile, Colton Cowell unleashing again. So after all the dust clears, a 4-point differential, and Akana with the serve. Forces the overpass. Rosenfeld plops it down, and Hawaii within 3. And here we go. Game on in the 4th.
Right back into it. Akana, Punahou graduate, transferred over from BYU, putting some serious heat on that ball from the backcourt.
That's a good serve right there. An ace dealt out of the deck.
And you gotta love his expressions. He almost looks surprised that he had such a great serve. He runs in and starts bouncing around, but it's making things happen from the service line.
15 serving 17. Outside, Schneidermiller popped up by Worsley. Cowell able to chase it down. It stays outside of the pin, and so a chance to play on in the sequence. Back set, and it is Sani. Goes off of Cowell and out for an Irvine point. Great effort by Colton just to keep that one alive.
Colton scrambling. That's an interesting rule where you can go out and bring that ball back to your side of the net.
As long as it stays outside of the pin.
Exactly.
And you can play on, yeah. 18 serving 15. Here it comes now from Vorenkamp. Pass by Akana on the money. Outside, Cowell off the fingertips of the block. Good save along the back line by Sani. And here Schneidermiller goes wide. Was there a touch? They're going to say there was.
Well, must have heard it because he sure couldn't see it from here.
So 19 serving 15. Tella high balls it to Rado off the block and down. Patapunov now with 13 kills.
And Hawaii's keeping close here.
And it is Rosenfeld setting up to serve. Hawaii hitting 300 as a team in this fourth set. UC Irvine, Lisa, hitting 632, just one hitting error as a team, and the service error by Rosenfeld once again gives UC Irvine some significant breathing room here, up by 4 as they hit the 20-point mark. But the serve goes long.
And it has definitely been a lot of service errors on both sides of the net this evening.
So in an evening where Hawaii a bit shorthanded because of Chaz Galloway not being part of the festivities due to an illness.
And his offense from just the back row alone is a huge loss, in my personal opinion, to Hawaii's offense tonight.
Oh, the one-hand set, and Gassman able to turn it back on static. It was a bit of a lighthearted patty cake moment above the tape between the two big fellas.
And Gassman actually getting that on his way down. It's a big point for Hawaii, closing the gap.
Hawaii within 2. Tella, pass by Faley. Outside, oh, the setup was a little off time. Here's Rado tight to the net. The joust knocked back over to Hawaii's side. Tella, backside, Patapunov off the block and out. Point for the Rainbow Warriors, and they have come back to close it to 1. Trailed by as many as 6 in this fourth set.
And Hawaii just battling. You gotta love it. They've been challenged, and they got a look in their eye as well right now.
19 serving 20. Middle set, static, block out a chunk. So Worsley sets up Rado through the double block. Pinballed around, it will be returned. Free chance for Hawaii. Tella back to Patapunov. And again he delivers. 15 kills for Rado. And this set is tied for the 4th time. Timeout UC Irvine.
It's a beautiful back set. Rado just plummeting that ball down the line. Hawaii completely in system right now in a game to 5.
So you had that long pause to try to address what was perhaps a series of points where UC Irvine played out of rotation. And then after the long discussion, the challenge by Charlie Wade, which got Hawaii the point, but they still trailed by 4. Back the Warriors have come.
And you know, the momentum really truly shifted to Hawaii's side after that little delay in game. That was very confusing, trying to figure out who was where and why Schneidermiller hit out of the right front and actually he was supposed to be left back or whatnot. Super confusing, but Hawaii ended up with the advantage on that break.
And so now we effectively start over here in the 4th. Rainbow Warriors up 2 sets to 1. These two teams will do it again tomorrow night. Tomorrow night will be the official senior night for a group that will include Pat Gassman, Colton Cowell, Rado Patapunov, Gage Worsley, Jackson Van Ekeren, and our own James Anastasiadis, who's been grouped in with the bunch even though he is technically serving as a student assistant this year.
That's a huge group of graduating seniors.
All right, so James, are you taking part in all of that tomorrow?
I haven't been told anything yet, actually, so I'm not too sure. But little does everyone know, I'm actually staying 1 more year.
Oh, really?
So my master's is 2 years.
So
I'm
this
doing
is breaking news right here.
Yeah, I guess so.
That
Rado insisted, though, that I went out with him, so I was like, anything for you, buddy.
Okay.
I'll have my senior night with you. And honestly, I'm kind of glad it happened that way. I'd love to not be the only one out of the 19 freshmen I came in with to stay. But what a game we are having today, and I'm loving this senior brick wall we have in the front row right now.
Oh, yeah, good point. Good observation there. Cowell, Gassman, and Parapunov, but Schneidermiller busts through that wall emphatically.
He almost took Rado out. He literally annihilated that ball. Here on the replay, take a quick look. Rado coming in to play some defense, and I don't know where that hit him. I think in the shoulder, but he took one.
So 21 serving 20. Schneidermiller got a piece of the tape. Tella goes middle to Gassman. High hands and out. And we're knotted again.
Gassman with 8 kills. Having a really nice connection night in the middle with Jakob Tella.
And it's Cowell. Took a little something off there. Backside set. And Sakanda, we haven't really heard from him for a stretch, but he is able to come up big for his 9th kill. And Irvine inches ahead once more.
Jai with the set selection. Again, a freshman running the offense for UC Irvine.
Static. Here's Rado. The set off the net. Pops straight up in the air by Schneidermiller. Static goes cross court. Sakanda's going to get a swing out of it. The dig there by Worsley. Tella, backside, Parapunov through the block and down. I mean, Tella knows where his bread is buttered the vast majority of times. 34th swing of the match for Rado. And he's got 16 put downs.
He definitely does, and he's got him dialed up on speed dial, literally.
Here's Hawkus in and back to serve. Sakanda, cross court and in. Was able to evade the block and get it right down smack dab along that sideline.
Kind of going away from Rado on the right side there.
What do you think about the way Irvine has been able to avoid this Hawaii block in many instances?
Well, a lot of it is set location. They're keeping it off just a little bit, just enough to move around the block.
And popped up nicely by Sakanda. He gets the high ball bump set, rolls it by that block. Tried to be very precise, but this time just missed that sideline. And we're tied at 23.
And that's the specialty of 2 left-handed players going at it. Sakanda and Rado Parapunov, they're 2 lefties hitting across court.
9th tie of set 4. And Parapunov with the toss. And it is a beauty, but a great pass. Sakanda comes swooping in, dug up by Rado. Bump set Tella. The swing Cowell from the back row was dug up by Sakanda. Outside, the touch shot there down the line by Gillis is sniffed out. Here's Akana. Pumps it long. Was there a touch? No touch. Point Irvine, Aloha ball, Anteaters in the 4th.
That's a tough set for Akana. A little tight, running in underneath it. Aiming for fingertips on that set.
Irvine thinking a 5th set here. Pass tight to the net. Middle set, Rosenfeld. And we're going to go to deuces here, 24 all in the 4th.
And Rosenfeld has just been so consistent. When he is called on, he performs.
And he always brings that intensity. It is overt. Akana with the jump serve. Schneidermiller touches it off the block. He tooled it to perfection. And it's Aloha ball again for Irvine. in the fourth. This has been a typical type of match experience for Irvine, right? We talk about just 2 wins all season, but so many of their matches have looked like this, where they have been competitive the majority of the time.
Yeah, their numbers don't really show the true team that they are.
Cowell is blocked, and Roof static, providing the static at the net. And Irvine takes it 26-24. And for the second time this season, Hawaii is forced to a fifth. Well, there is your scenario. We are going to a fifth here at Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center. It's the second time Hawaii's been pushed to a fifth. You may recall the last time. It was the last match in this building for Hawaii against Long Beach State. The Warriors would win that one. So they are 1-0 in 5-set matches this year. As for UC Irvine, they are 1-2. They went to 5 sets twice against UC San Diego on back-to-back nights, in fact. One time at home, the next night at UC San Diego's place. They won the first one, lost the second one, and then lost in 5 at home to Long Beach State. That was back on March 27th.
So like we talked about earlier, this team really has been competing all season long, even though their record truly is not a reflection of what they have done so far this season.
So now you have a situation. Hawaii won the first 2 sets, competitive sets. Irvine takes a very competitive 3rd set. You have a strange scenario that transpired in set 4 that prompted a long pause with Schneidermiller basically playing 6 rotations in the front row. But he still did his thing. 19 kills to lead everybody so far in this match. But Irvine would withstand a Hawaii comeback in that 4th set. So if you had to choose a team that had the advantage going into the 5th, right? And technically you throw all the stats out when you go into a 5th set, but momentum is a thing. Who do you give the advantage to?
Well, right now, UC Irvine has the advantage because they came back and took that game. And yeah, it was only 2 points, but they did, even after that break, and the advantage actually went to Hawaii. But really, in the long run, when you get to play 6 rotations in the front row and hit, that's not an advantage to you. I mean, that's your advantage.
Rado Patapunov, he has 16 kills. And how about the way to start this 5th set as Jakob Tella deals an ace out of the deck.
And Hawaii really has to start strong in this 5th game.
That's what it almost always comes down to in a 5th, right? Who gets off to the best start?
Best start and the energy.
Schneidermiller providing some energy again. He has just been fantastic tonight.
And he's in the back row now.
Let's make a note of that.
I am going to make a note of that. See where he's at. Make sure he stays back there for 3 full rotations.
Tella high and away. It goes to Rado. And he slams it down.
And Rado just doing what he does best. Rocket Rado delivering.
And this is among the times when this game of volleyball gets really fun. You have 2 of the best hitters on opposite sides of the net, and they're going to go at it here in a 5th set winner-take-all. Rado got his fingertips on that touch shot by Gillis. Hawaii out of system. Akana sends it across. Irvine goes out to Gillis. Again, the block getting a chunk. Tella backside. Rado against a double block is blocked. Good cover by Gassman. Back to Patapunov. He has to dink it over. The advantage now, the Anteaters. Sakanda off the block. The save along the back line by Cowell. Backside set. Rado yet again falls to the floor and gets the kill. Patapunov having to put it all forth on that sequence as Colton Cowell kept it alive on a number of occasions.
Colton Cowell made that entire rally, in my personal opinion. He came from middle back and grabbed that ball. He had 3 incredible defensive digs.
And Cowell sends it into the net.
Those are the tough ones. It's like all for naught, right? Like this great long rally and then,
It certainly can be deflating in some high-stakes situations like this. Static rolls it across. Good pass there, Cowell. Middle set, Gassman hits it wide. No touch. And we're tied at 3. Gassman with just his second hitting error of the match.
so far 49 ties in this game so far.
That's unreal. Tella sets up Rado, just one blocker against him, and he gobbles it up. That was swing number 40 for Parapunov.
And he doesn't look like he's slowing down much.
Says when he came into this program, he was a hitter. He was always a talented hitter. He says, now at the tail end of my career, I feel like I'm a volleyball player.
Yeah, he's a 6th rotation. I mean, his digs, his defense alone has just risen.
So Conda hits it long. Irvine wanted a touch. No such call. We may get a challenge here. And yes, it looks like David Niffen is going to challenge the no-touch call.
And that's a huge call. I mean, it's a benefit to have a challenge, be able to call when you have this type of scenario in Game 5, slowing things down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, it effectively, at the very least, serves as an opportunity for a de facto timeout. At best, you get this overturned, and it goes from your team being down 2 to we're tied at 4.
That's right. And not all the Big West matches have this challenge system. They don't have the capability to look at the replays.
So let's see. Do you see a touch right there? Left hand Akana, maybe?
Definitely out. It looked a little bit like a field goal to me.
Ooh. It looks like there may have been a touch. Again, that left hand of Akana. Let's see what the ruling is. Yes.
You're right.
So the challenge works, and it goes from 5 serving 3 to 4 up.
Another tie.
Well, this has been fun.
Right? Back and forth.
And we got another one tomorrow, and then we have a whole tournament's worth of possible matches like this next week.
I'm telling you, they're going to be just like this. I think these teams are just finally getting into what, you know, it's nearing the end season, but it's more the middle of their season. Truly.
And I think in particular for a team like Irvine, right, we talk about all the chess pieces that were moved around, players being switched in terms of their position, their rotation, all of that. It seemed as though Irvine all season long was just trying to find a combination, something that represents their true identity. And it appears as though they've started to discover some of that at just the right time.
It sure does, and it seems like Coach Niffen knew that coming to Hawaii, getting the 10 days here in the islands, getting his kids away and being together as a team.
How about that shot by Gillis?
Well, you know, he was libero the last 5 matches, so let's just let him hit this time around, right? Pretty amazing player.
He now has 11 kills, and that one had some English and maybe several other languages on it. Rado from the back row, busts it through the block. And Hawaii hops ahead.
Jakob Tella, I'll tell you, his athleticism on that play on the let serve, he got that ball up. He could have very easily not played that ball, but he did. And he rescued that point for his team.
Yeah, just the awareness to know that that was going to be in his neighborhood after the ricochet off the net. So 6 serving 5. It has been Rocket Rado time here in the late stretches of this match. Parapunov, 21 kills, hitting .381. Here's Akana again. Pass tight to the net. Set up Schneidermiller, popped up by Worsley. Akana backstepping, tries to bump set Cowell from off the net. He's blocked and roofed. Vorenkamp got the gist of that one.
It's a great set by Akana, just high and outside. Colton Cowell getting a little bit under it. I don't think he actually saw the blockers up on him. I know he knows that there were blockers there.
And so here is Vorenkamp, the former setter turned middle blocker, 6'6" sophomore from Los Angeles. Two-hand pass, Akana. Cross-court set, Cowell. And someone came into the net. And it's going to be Cowell who did. So a point for Irvine, and they jump in front in the midsection of this fifth set.
That set a little too tight for Colton Cowell. You can see him just following through and catching the top of the tape there.
And that serve just misses that near sideline. Point for Hawaii. The Rainbow Warriors, having already claimed the outright conference crown in the regular season, now see their unblemished record being threatened here inside their home arena. 7 up in the fifth. Schneidermiller. The pop up there, Rado, but right to the net. Easy pickings for Static. And it is Irvine in front yet again. Usually in a traditional year, this would be the moment where we would swap sides here in a fifth set, but obviously not the case here as the teams remaining on their respective sides of the net.
Lots of changes with COVID, that's for sure.
Pass by Worsley. Tella goes middle. It's Gassman off the block and down. They are trading haymakers right now in this pivotal winner-take-all fifth.
I feel like I'm on a teeter-totter, back and forth, up and down. And I'm sure the teams do as well. They're playing real consistent volleyball.
Tella, good serve. Pass by Gillis, though, on the money, but then Static sends it long. No touch up front. And Hawaii once again leapfrogs in front.
And Kanaya Akana playing that middle back, being very aware, staying deep, and recognize that ball being long. He could have very easily played that ball.
9 serving 8. Middle set, Static, layout save, Akana for not. And we are not head again. 9 apiece.
And Irvine changing things up again.
We've been tied just about every step of the way here in this fifth set. How rare is it for Hawaii to be threatened on its home floor? Well, in this arena, Hawaii went 9-1 last year, 16-0 in 2019. As Potapunov unleashes. Hawaii is 60-5 at the stand since 2017.
Those are some serious numbers. And again, we talk about the noise in the arena, the fans, not having the fans. This team performs so well when they've got the fans. They have had to build their own energy.
That's a really good point. As Sakanda went up a few extra notches on that attempt, and we're tied at 10. You're right. I mean, these are the kinds of matches, right? These thrilling moments, high-pressure situations. These are the times where the fans would provide so much of that motor for Hawaii. Backside, Rado, one blocker up. And that's usually not going to be enough to get it done.
It's like the longer he plays, the better he gets.
I mean, there was a time where he was hitting negative triple digits. And here he is now, 23 kills. And he's up in the 400 range. In fact, 409 to be exact.
He's leading all hitters in kills.
High ball goes outside to Gillis, and he finds that deep corner. My goodness.
That's like textbook. That's about as deep as it gets. From here, it almost looked long, but I'll tell you what, that's very hard to defend that ball. Gillis with 11 kills, 12 kills, hitting at 500.
We have a substitution as Doug Dom, 6'3" redshirt freshman from Danville, California, wearing number 9, comes in. Served by Sakanda. Pass by Cowell is a pretty one. Backside Rado. Past the double block and down. 24 kills for Rocket Rado. And Hawaii up 1. Are you not entertained?
See if Rado takes a little something off of this.
12 serving 11. He does. Got a good piece of the tape, but it still went over. Gillis dug up over the net. They play a little ping pong. Hawaii now with it. Here's Rado from the back row. Through the double block. The kick saved by Bailey. Sakanda puts it down. What a sequence for Irvine.
Unbelievable. Bailey with the dig of the night right there on the kick dig. Had a little longer leg than arm. And another kill for Irvine. Irvine was looked a little discombobulated on serve receive that last play.
Pass by Worsley. Tella sets up Rado. 2 blockers against him. It's dug up over the net, and it finds its way out of play. Point for Hawaii. But going back to that kick saved by Bailey, not bad for a guy who made his season debut in Irvine's last match a couple of weekends ago on their senior night against UC Santa Barbara. He's in grad school, graduated in 3 years, and so the educational load that he has had to carry, that he has burdened himself with, has made it very difficult for him to maintain a place in the rotation.
That's right, and last year he was a starting libero, and he basically lost that position, and now he's back into the lineup.
Hawaii up 1, joust at the net. And a great play by Dylan Jai. At 6'1", was able to beat the trees to the ball.
Well, Coach Niffen said he does have flashes of brilliance, and that was one of them right there.
Well, he said that he reminds him sometimes of Joe Worsley, right? Because of his size, because of the way he sets the ball, and the way Worsley would attack those balls that were 50-50 above the tape. There were shades of Joe right there for sure.
Definitely.
The out serve, though, gives Hawaii aloha ball for the match, Lisa.
And interesting, you know, Joe Worsley's dad, Roger, actually helped to coach Dylan Jai. So there's some significance there as well.
And again, the ill-timed service error hurting Irvine in one of the worst opportunities. As Cole Hoagland comes in. Aloha ball for the match in the 5th. Schneidermiller off the block. Good save there. Cowell. Gassman sets up Cowell. Off the block. One-hand save for Knott. And Hawaii closes the deal. The senior-to-senior connection. Uncle Pat to Colton Cowell. And Hawaii puts the finishing touches on a thriller here at Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center. 15-13 in the 5th.
And I'll tell you what, Cole Hoagland coming in, doing a phenomenal job. Been sitting there for 5 games, got a touch off of that, and then Colton Cowell putting it down from a set from Uncle Pat.
And what was great was the immediate display of respect between the two teams. You see Hawaii celebrating here and certainly taking a moment to drink it in. But then both teams on either side of the net turned and looked at each other, and they recognized just how far they pushed each other here this evening. Bank of Hawaii presents the players of the match. And Joel Schneidermiller, 20 kills to lead the way for Irvine, hit .516. Rado Patapunov completely turning his night around. He was in negative numbers for a time. He finishes with 25 kills, hitting .426, and also had 6 what should be digs to his stat line as well. Let's go over to Scott.
Hey, thanks a lot, Coach. Congratulations. That was about as close a 5-set match as you'll ever find.
Yeah, that certainly was. And before we get too far into it, I got to two housekeeping things. One, shout out to Iolani Sportswear for the fine Aloha shirts they provide us. And want to say a shout out to Kanoa's dad, Jim. Pops, wish we could see more of you, and hope you're feeling better.
All right, and talk more about tonight, because much different than the first two times you played each other.
Yeah, this is closer to the lineup when we played them before. They had some guys back on the floor, and I talked to Dave Niffen, the coach, quite a bit, probably more so this year than most, but and he was hoping that by this week he'd get some of these guys back on the floor. You saw 11 when he came in, how impactful he was. That was arguably the number one recruit in the country, and Garcia, 6, the other setter on the court. They had Vorenkamp back in the lineup, so a really talented set of pin hitters that they had on the floor out there tonight, and we never really stopped them. They get blocked the least of any team in the league, and they were really impressive tonight, there's no doubt.
How much did you guys miss Chaz Galloway, and what's the status for tomorrow night for him?
He should be good. I'll find out a little more, but Chaz, we miss you. Would have liked to have you out here tonight, and hopefully he's with us again tomorrow.
All right, Coach, enjoy this one. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Aloha.
All right, Kanoa, back over to you.
Thanks a lot, Scott, and thanks a lot, Charlie. I know Pops is watching, and so if he was able to stay up through the whole thing, he is certainly a happy camper, that's for sure. Hawaii remains unbeaten here in this 2021 season. 14-0, 9-0 in the Big West Conference, but they had to work to get this one, earning a victory in 5 against UC Irvine. Don't forget about the post-game show, but for now, for Lisa Strand, I'm Kanoa Leahy. Till next time, everybody, aloha from Manoa.
Colton Cowell continuing on with his hot ways here as we look at the highlights. Colton Cowell going up and over the block tonight. The senior from Maui finishing with 17 kills, hitting .393. Really provided that offensive power for Hawaii throughout the night. And of course, Rado Parapuna, the National Player of the Year candidate, showing why throughout. He had a slow start at the beginning of the match, but really turned it on at the end. Rado ending the night with 25 kills, hitting .426 on the night, was almost set exclusively in that 5th set. Pulled himself out of a hole to help Hawaii win this match. Hawaii wins in 5, winning the first 2, 25-22, 25-23, dropping the next 2, and coming back to win 15-13 in the 5th.
This is the post-game show on Spectrum Sports.
Good job, Orion. I guess now everybody can hear me. And Hawaii does win it in 5 to remain unbeaten on the season. I'm Scott. You just heard Ryan James. He's joining us as well. Guys, this was a real offensive night for both teams. If you like defense, there wasn't a lot.
Yeah, very incredible offensive night for both teams. We saw some of the biggest blocks in the country, and somehow every hitter was able to go around their blocks. It was incredible.
Yeah, a lot of just great storylines that happened tonight. Really shows the depth of Hawaii's bench and the fact that Charlie Wade is not afraid to put players in at really any moment. We saw, of course, Kana'i Akana that came off the bench to help stabilize the passing in that 4th set. We also, of course, saw on that very last play Cole Hoglan being exerted. We've heard about Cole Hoglan being one of the best blockers in the gym, and probably James can speak a little more to this in the practice gym, but he gets inserted on match point, gets a touch on the block. No setter on the court because he was in actually for Jakob Tella. Gassman ends up being the setter, sets Cowell, and Hawaii wins. Just an incredible way to end it.
Yeah, Cole Hoglan, we kind of have a nickname for him. He's the pogo stick. He just skies, and how fast he can get off the ground and just reach over is incredible. His blocking tonight showed to be very effective, and that last play was crucial for the Hawaii men's volleyball team to seal in that set.
And how about Rado Parapunov? Ryan, you had the story about him in Game On. He was flatlining after the first 2 sets and then just was incredible the rest of the way. Hawaii really rode that left arm of his in that 5th set.
And I think that just goes to speak of the type of caliber of player that Rado Parapunov is. The fact that he could be hitting in the negatives in the first 2 sets of this match and turn it around and end up hitting over 400 speaks a lot of his mental ability and his just physical prowess. The fact that he could take as many swings as he did as well and be able to maintain that level shows what kind of leader he is and why many believe that he should be the player of the year for this NCAA men's volleyball season.
Yeah, 8 kills in that 5th set for Rado as Hawaii won the 5th set 15-13. And, you know, you look at Hawaii blocking-wise, James, you talked about, you thought earlier in the match or before the match that Hawaii would be more successful offensively. How much do you think the fact that they faced each other twice was a factor maybe in that?
I think the fact that they faced each other 3 times earlier this year was a huge factor. And like I said earlier, I think Irvine developed a very good scouting report and early on in the game did a good job shutting down Rado. He didn't have the best start, but as the game went along, he kind of found a rhythm. It was awesome to watch. But Irvine came out and they wanted to take down the #1 team in the nation, and they came to fight. It was an awesome game to watch.
I think the other thing, too, that was good for Hawaii is expose some of the weaknesses that they have to work on. In fact, we just saw a shot. The team currently on the court right now, still being coached by Charlie. He's talking to them about some of those things that were exploited. One of the things that I thought that Hawaii really did a poor job on was sealing that line block on the left side. Schneidermiller was hitting a lot of balls crossbody down the line, and the line blocker at the end was not making the adjustments. And that's why maybe we saw Cole Hoagland get inserted into the right front position for that last play, because the right side blocking really looked weak for Hawaii tonight. They've got to step that up moving into the postseason play.
Well, Hawaii is able to find a way to win it in 5. And one of the guys, he doesn't get all the limelight, but he probably is the brightest guy on the team if you ask him. Gage Worsley joins us now down on the floor. Gage, congratulations. That was a tough one tonight for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, Irvine came to play. We didn't, but luckily some guys stepped up. We needed to and took care of business.
Well, what did you see differently today as opposed to the beginning of the season against these guys?
I mean, they're just playing better together. They've gone through a lot of lineups, and I think they found their one that's going to be working. And they're just bombing high balls, and we didn't do anything to stop them.
By the way, Gage with 11 digs tonight, guys.
Gage, when you're playing against some of the caliber of outside hitters, like a player like Schneidermiller, defensively, what are some of the adjustments that you folks are making and conversations that are happening between the block and defense to be able to stop and at least try to slow down somebody like that?
Personally, I don't think I made any good adjustments, to be honest with you guys. I don't know, a guy like that, you know, you just got to kind of, you're going to win some, you're going to lose some. Hopefully you win a lot more than you lose. And, you know, just say, hey, take this space. I'll try and take this space. But did not do a great job of that tonight, personally.
James, do you think that the past 2 games going to 5 has made Hawaii team better, or has it been something that can help you guys moving forward into the Big West tournament?
I mean, it's always good, you know, going to 5 with any team. Not good, but it's definitely builds character, especially when you come out in tight ones and win like that. But at the same time, when no disrespect to any other team, but when we're at our best, they shouldn't go to 5. It shouldn't be anything like that, anything like it was tonight. You know, all respect to Irvine, they were bombing, and we were not, and we weren't. I mean, I wasn't playing great, and to answer your question, I think, yeah, I mean, it makes you better, but at the same time, you know, we look weak right now, and I think that we need to do a better job of really asserting ourselves if we think we're the #1 team.
And another quick follow-up questions to the past 2 games. We've seen that in both games there has been a lot of confusion in between set 3.
Yeah.
And you come out and you do a great job coaching the entire serve-receive and the passing drill. What's the mentality after something that stops the game for close to 10 minutes?
I mean, the momentum, you know, we have a 10-minute stoppage of play or plus like last time, you know, no matter what the score is, the momentum's even. I mean, obviously, we're by 5 or 6 points, you know, you're going to feel more confident, but at the same time, you can grab the momentum like that, you know, and we did, but we just didn't execute when we needed to at the end of that 4th set, and, you know, just learn your lessons and then move on and try and win the match.
Gage, last question. You're a 4th-year junior. You have decided that this is it for you, even though you could come back next year. How difficult a decision was that, and has it kind of settled? Have you thought about that tomorrow night will be your final match? Granted, next week the Big West tournament is here, but your final regular season match at home.
At first, you know, I was a little confused, but it came clear. I talked to my family. I don't think it relatively took very long to kind of decide. I knew what I wanted, and I decided what I decided. And, I mean, I'm lucky where, same thing like my brother, you know, we had a senior night, but following week we had the following we had hopefully 2 more matches here. So I was thinking more there. This is take care of business one, and then kind of celebrate and really enjoy it. And then the next 2 matches, I think are really sinking.
Hey, congratulations. We've enjoyed watching you, and we look forward to seeing you out there again tomorrow.
Thanks, guys.
All right, Gage Worsley, our guest here in the post-game show. We'll take a break, come back and have more, as there you see Gage's cutout as Hawaii wins in 5 over UC Irvine.
Welcome back to the post-game show on Spectrum Sports.
All right, let's take a look at the final numbers from this slugfest tonight. And, so many things are so close. Irvine actually out-hit Hawaii as well as they out-blocked the Rainbow Warriors, guys.
Yeah, hard to believe that Hawaii actually won that looking at this stat sheet. And, Hawaii, again, leading the nation in blocks, only with 5 blocks tonight. But Hawaii still managing to get away. Of course, Hawaii out-digging 33 digs, but also another interesting number. Look at those service errors, 24 service errors from Irvine. A lot of that came in the beginning part of the match, but you can certainly see how much service pressure they were trying to put on Hawaii.
Yeah, I believe going into the third set, they had 16 service errors, so a lot of them were in the beginning, but they got on a great rhythm there at the end and really pressured Hawaii's serve-receive game, getting them out of system and forcing them to set more high balls. I think both sides did a great job. Irvine just had a little too many service errors, but what a close game by both sides. Could have been anyone's game tonight.
Yeah, definitely, and it was pretty entertaining. You look at the Hawaii team, though, they've already clinched the #1 seed in the Big West. They've won the regular season. Do you think maybe they came out with a little lack of motivation tonight, James?
I think so, and we heard it from Gage earlier tonight. He said that going to 5 and nothing against any other teams, so going to 5 just proves that Hawaii is not at their greatest. And they did come out a little relaxed, I believe, and could have done a little better, but those sets going into the 5th and having it so close can only make you better as a team. And it really is a good slap to the face to realize that, hey, the season is not over. We haven't accomplished anything, and they got to work harder. So I think as rough of a night that they had, it was kind of needed.
Yeah, and I also think it also provides an opportunity, like we said earlier, for those on the bench to have a significant role on this team. Of course, we know that Chaz Galloway was out because of that illness. We'll see if we see him here tomorrow night. But even without him, who is someone that is in the starting lineup, Hawaii was able to manage and be competitive, and that says a lot to what this team has in terms of depth and the potential that's coming off the bench.
And also nobody in the country maybe just Hawaii and BYU has as big a home court advantage, particularly when this place is full. And, COVID has kind of eliminated that, at least for this Rainbow Warrior men's volleyball team this year, because you could imagine if there were fans, this place would be full every night because they're the best team in the country. You don't have that. That kind of takes away one of their advantages.
Yeah, it's one thing that I was thinking about tonight is what a shame it is for the people at home watching from the screen that they don't get to experience these crazy games that we've been witnessing all year in the Simplify Stan Sheriff Arena. And like you said, yeah, it kind of takes away from that home court advantage, but they do get to practice in here every day. Hawaii comes in here, practices for 2-3 hours, however long they practice, and it gives you slight advantage, but definitely takes away the crowd component of it.
Yeah, but at least we have the crowd noise, the artificial noise. No one complains about that.
The controversial artificial crowd noise.
Yeah, there is some crowd noise, and there are some cutouts as well. The thing is, Hawaii won. That's the bottom line. They won, and they'll do it again tomorrow. We'll take our final break. We'll come back and talk about tomorrow night and wrap things up.
Welcome back to the post-game show on Spectrum Sports.
Well, it is an H-Day Friday here in Manoa. Let's take a look at the Big West Conference scoreboard on the second to final day of the regular season. There you saw on Wednesday, UC Santa Barbara played UC San Diego, and the Gauchos won in 5. That was a non-conference match from our understanding. Then they played last night, and the Gauchos won in 3. But the stunner was tonight earlier, CSUN knocking off Long Beach State. And so there are the scores from the Big West Conference this week. And now you see the upcoming schedule, of course, tomorrow, the finale of the regular season, and then the Big West tournament here in Honolulu. A reminder, all 5 matches from Thursday through Saturday will be live on Spectrum Sports. And so, as we can tell you right now, that's how it looks. You see Hawaii, of course, the number 1 seed. We don't know who they'll face yet. UC Santa Barbara's claimed the number 2 seed, and we know Long Beach State is the number 3 seed. And guys, I think one thing we know also, having watched tonight, is that, you know, if you're not on your A game, you can lose against anybody in this conference. So Hawaii's going to have to play well tomorrow night, and they're definitely going to have to play well next week if they're going to win the tournament.
Yeah, like I said earlier tonight, the Big West tournament is that last chance to get a ticket into the NCAA final, and every team is going to bring their A game. If you slack off, that could be your chance of making it to the national championship, and we saw that tonight could be anyone's game.
Yeah, I think it's really going to come down to how Hawaii can end the season. Oftentimes, that target gets especially bigger once that number keeps racking up with that undefeated season and no losses. Every team's going to be coming for you. And when you're in the position of being the number 1 team, everyone's coming after you. They're going to be playing their hearts out to try to not only knock off the number 1 team, but also to advance and win a conference championship. So Hawaii, no doubt, a lot of pressure on them, but it's a position I think they will thrive in.
What do you guys both think? Give me one thing Hawaii needs to do better tomorrow night so they don't have to go 5.
I think serving, although Hawaii had a great serving night, for the most part, they could do a better job. And being a little more aggressive in the sense that it's not always about velocity, but targeting a little more seams, making players move on serve receive. They have a lot of players coming in and out all the time, so they're coming off the bench trying to receive, and it could be very off-putting a lot of times. So just being a little smarter from the back of the service line.
Ryan?
I think it's going to come down to one of the big things will be blocking. Hawaii has got to do a better job of trying to slow down these attackers, and it might not necessarily have to mean a shutdown block where Hawaii will have a block on the stat sheet, but just slowing down and touching balls to allow the defense to play transition volleyball behind that. I think that's going to be a key point. The other thing will just be trying to control the emotion. It is senior night, and while this place will not be filled with fans as it normally is, there's always a lot of emotion, and oftentimes that can be distracting. These seniors have really got to hone in and take care of business. Also should note that we just got word that those who would like to give lei to a senior, like James, if you want to give James a lei, you can drop it off here at the Stan Sheriff Center at 2 p.m. tomorrow. They'll be allowing people to drop off leis, and then they will be presented at the end of the match.
Darn it. You know, James, I was going to bring you a lei, but I'll be at baseball at 2 o'clock tomorrow, so... Sorry,
I'll see you later tonight then.
You can bring it to the match. Scott. See him later.
Come on, you're not supposed to say that. Anyway, guys, another good job, and Hawaii pushed to the limit, but they found a way to win again. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Now wrap things up for us here this evening. As always, special thanks to our outstanding Spectrum Sports crew, no question the best in the business. So for James and for Ryan, I'm Scott. And until tomorrow night at 6:30 with Game On, we bid you aloha and a good evening from Simplify Arena at Stan Sheriff Center in Manoa.